Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest severe weather coverage. Hope everybody's having a good evening thus far. We are anticipating a very busy night of severe weather. Already we have 2 tornado warnings in Oklahoma and plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, and we are anticipating the potential here tonight for a possible small-scale tornado outbreak in Oklahoma and Texas. We just got these 2 tornado warnings within the last about minute or so back over near Elk City, just east of Elk City near the I-40 corridor, near Thomas and as well as Clinton and as well as north of New Cordell. If you are anywhere in these tornado warnings, make sure that you are getting to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building. Our main area of rotation right now near Burns Flat is going to be really right over Burns Flat, moving towards Bessie and eventually going towards Clinton, which is a bit more of a populated town here in western Oklahoma near the I-40 corridor. It will be approaching 183 over the next several minutes. And we also have another area of rotation that has been wrapping up a lot over the last few minutes near Custer City. So this is the area of rotation. We're in between some radar sites, so it's a little bit hard to see here, but it's right over Custer City as of right now, and it's tracking to the northeast. It'll be going towards Thomas, traveling right along Highway 33, eventually going towards Watonga and Hitchcock in western Oklahoma. So if you are included in this tornado warning, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building. We also have damaging wind potential up and down this line of thunderstorms. This line has exploded over the last hour with numerous damaging winds right now located from the I-40 corridor back through Childress, Texas. Lots of lightning as well. Corey Gerken, bottom right of your screen, is storm chasing right now around the Clinton area, and there is a lot of lightning with these storms. So definitely anticipate these storms to be very electrified. We are anticipating a pretty large area here as well of some damaging winds as this continues to intensify and as it continues to move towards areas like central Oklahoma and eventually into parts of North Texas as we go into the overnight hours tonight. For the most part, the southwestern Oklahoma storms are all linear. We have not really seen any rotation really get too concerning so far. We'll be keeping a close eye on that activity. Definitely, again, a lot of lightning with those. Our biggest concern is going to be these storms near the I-40 corridor. A bit more semi-discreet, especially the storm back up here near Thomas that'll be going again towards Watonga and as well as Route 270. Let's go ahead and go to, first we're going to go to storm intermedia. So storm intermedia currently is heading towards the storm that's south of Clinton. So this is a live view here. Storm intermedia, right side of the screen, or kind of in the middle now, is where there might be something there. We are starting to see, again, a little bit of lightning out here. The only decent thing about tonight's setup when it comes to the tornado risk is that there is a lot of lightning. So storm chasers should be able to see stuff a little bit better out here when it comes to a possible tornado or something along those lines. And so this is, again, a live shot right now just south of I-40. We'll listen in here to storm intermedia while I quickly do something. Again, frequent lightning right now. Let's go over to Corey Gerken as well, who is also in this vicinity. I'm not entirely sure which storm he's going to. Give me 1 second, I'll give you an idea. Alright, he's currently in Clinton, Oklahoma, so he's kind of in between both tornado warnings. Lightning looks a little bit less significant where he is right now. Go back over to the 3-cam overlay for now. We'll have him bottom middle of your screen as long as his stream is working. For some reason it is not. Alright, let me try this. Let's go. One moment. We are having technical difficulties. Where is this? Storm intermedia is duplicated. Nice. Tornado warning, by the way, for Blaine, Custer, and Dewey counties has just been updated. It is still radar indicated. We do have a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust, 59 miles per hour, that was just reported in Bessie, Oklahoma. So we are seeing some damaging winds right around severe levels as of right now, as this line of storms does continue to move off to the east-northeast and northeast over the next several minutes. And, all right, there we go. Okay. All right, we're going to put Freddie McKinney bottom middle. So Freddie McKinney also is currently on the tornado warning cell. I'm going to give you an idea of which one here in just a second. All right, we got some technical issues that I'm having here on my end, but we're fixing it. All right, Freddie's on. He's just south of Clinton, so he's currently on the other tornado warning. Let's go full cam to Freddie, who is on the Clinton storm. So this is a live shot right now in Clinton, or just south of Clinton.
Have a bit of a wall cloud there.
Let me know if this audio is too loud or too quiet. Should be good.
A bit of a wall cloud coming up towards us.
Have I been sick? Yes. For those that are wondering, by the way, I might sound a little congested. I have been sick the last few days. I am a little sick. By the way, Freddie McKinney's also on YouTube Live. This is, again, Freddie McKinney on the storm just south of Clinton. See if we can see anything here. Freddie is glitchy. Okay, I'll turn off his audio for now. I'm not sure if it's his connection or it might just be how the audio is going through this. Okay, Freddie right now thinks there may be at least a lowering, so that's what he was just saying a moment ago. Again, this is the storm that's just south of Clinton, Oklahoma. Bottom right of your screen is the velocities. Again, I'm not seeing anything very definitive, but if we had any sort of tornado or lowering, it would be near Bessie in Oklahoma, currently moving to the east-northeast.
Whoa.
Alright, I'm gonna try to put Freddie's audio back on. Let me know if it's still robotic or not. Hopefully it's better.
YouTube, you heard nothing. You heard nothing, YouTube. Do not be copyrighting the stream.
Apparently the North Tornado Warning does have a lowering, according to Reed. I think Corey might be on that storm. It's still robotic. Okay, I'll turn him off. Okay, we do have Corey now back. Corey is bottom middle of your screen, so I'm pretty sure he's on the northern storm. Correct me if I'm wrong. For some reason I don't have his location either. As a reminder, if you are just tuning in, again, 2 tornado warnings currently in Oklahoma, both of them in western Oklahoma, just outside of Weatherford. Line of storms right now producing damaging winds across the board. Upwards of 60 miles per hour. We've had some storms also a little bit further off to the north, just west of Wichita, and also back up near Alva. Again, these have been mostly just wind and hail. Nothing really significant out of those storms as of right now. We do anticipate the most significant threat of both damaging winds and tornadoes over the next few hours to mainly be across central, southern, and western Oklahoma. And we do anticipate upscaling as we go later into the evening, really just after midnight, as the cap becomes eroded back over in parts of Texas. We do anticipate storms to fire up back between Abilene and Wichita Falls. Damaging winds again being the main concern. Definitely gonna be a possibility as well for a few tornadoes. And I honestly think back over near Dallas Fort Worth, we may be talking about a more significant threat of severe weather as we go into the late evening and as well as into the, or not late evening, sorry, as we go closer to the early morning hour. So right around 3 to 6 a.m. I do think that we're gonna have a line of storms approaching from the west, and we actually could see a couple of discrete supercells even try to fire off. I'm gonna quickly show you guys the future radar here for the next few hours and give you an idea of what we're talking about. So this one looks like right about now, again, line of storms is really continuing to grow in size across western Oklahoma. Right around midnight tonight, we anticipate this line of thunderstorms to be approaching the Oklahoma City metro, and also going back through Vernon, Texas is where we're going to start to see some storms fire up. As we go into the early morning hours tomorrow, right around 3 o'clock, notice how the line of storms is very long, all the way from Tulsa back into Wichita Falls. Storms are firing up just west of Dallas and Fort Worth. I do anticipate right around 4 to 5 in the morning, we could actually have a couple of semi-discrete or discrete cells attempt to fire off out in front of this line. And if that happens, the tornado threat could be a bit more significant around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which obviously this is very late at night. So obviously if you are going to bed in Oklahoma or Texas, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. But generally speaking, we are talking mainly about a line of storms that's going to be producing damaging winds and also some embedded tornadoes in this line of thunderstorms, which is what we call QLCS tornadoes. And then eventually, as we go into the into the morning hours tomorrow, so just after sunrise, this becomes a very messy line of thunderstorms. But again, I think around Dallas-Fort Worth, we actually could have a bit more of a significant severe weather setup there, right around 3 to 6 in the morning, if we are able to get a couple more of those little discrete cells out in front of the line. Those would be the ones that are a little bit more concerning. We just got an update on both of these tornado warnings. Again, both of them are still radar indicated. Let's go over to high-res velocities as well. This is a little bit better view of the velocities here. Still have a little bit of rotation right now near the Thomas area. Good amount of lightning. So again, if there is a tornado, a storm chaser may be able to spot it. But again, it is nighttime. I would not be trying to look out your door to try to see if you can see a tornado. I get it's Oklahoma, but not a great idea with this type of environment, with storms moving very quickly off to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour tonight. So definitely make sure that you're staying away from windows if you are in either of these tornado warnings. Again, the other one currently near Clinton. Let's go back over to Storm Intermedia. They are right now about a mile or so. Or actually, we'll go to Freddie first. Freddie is currently right near Bessie, Oklahoma, which is really right around where the hook echo is on this particular storm. So if there is something, we might be able to see it. Also, there is a report of a large funnel cloud in Custer City, according to Elliot Baum, if I'm saying the name right, as of about 9 minutes ago. So 9 minutes ago, we had a report of a large funnel cloud in Custer City, which that is the northern storm for reference. That's not the one we're looking at right now. Hey, and if I refresh it, will the audio fix itself? Or is it just going to be broken? I could try to get his YouTube link, but I don't have enough manual slots open. Alright, let's go back over to Storm Intermedia.
And then just, I guess, go for the next one.
Whoa, this is Storm Intermedia's view. Look at that. Right in the middle.
Okay, that works.
Might have something happening here.
That's almost nearly the best way probably to play this, because you get to do everything else. And
Look in the middle there. That I'm pretty sure is where we're looking for a possible lowering. See if we can get another good shot of that. Definitely looks like a lowering right there in the middle. That looks like a large lowering in the middle. And this is the storm that's currently near Bessie, Oklahoma, just south of Clinton, south of I-40. I think Storm Intermedia is going to reposition here.
Sirens. About time. I don't know why.
See if we got another good flash of lightning here, but that definitely looks like a lowering.
Tornado sirens in Bessie are going off.
a little bit late, but yep.
Only went off once too.
Does look like a large lowering.
That one sound of the siren was good enough.
Hey, miss. 9-volt battery died on it.
There is a violent tornado parameter of about a 9.
Velocities on radar have rotation right over where Storm Intermedia is, which is right along 183 near Bessie. We'll stay on him for now.
Precip.
Until he does reposition.
BL, I'm gonna head south.
There's one of our best ways to be able to tell if there's a tornado on the ground other than radar. We are in a little bit of a radar hole for reference, so it's going to be a little bit harder to confirm there actually being a tornado. Alright, they are repositioning. Let's go back over to... Let me go to Corey first. See what Corey's looking at. If he is... Oh, there he is, okay. Corey's getting some crazy lightning.
The severe thunderstorm warning for eastern County is canceled. The storms which prompted the warning have moved out of the warned area. Therefore, the warning has been canceled.
Get back on 40 and
A severe
Louise
thunderstorm
a little
warning
bit
remains in
and
effect
find a
until 11 p.m. Central Standard Time for western
figure out
Washington, central Custer, and southeastern Beckham counties. At 10:34 p.m. Central Standard Time,
All right, let's go back over to live radar. This is again the live shot on radar near Clinton. The main concern right now is this storm near just south of Clinton. We had, by the looks of it, at least from what we saw in Storm Media's end, it does appear as if we have a relatively large lowering right now on this storm, and it's currently tracking towards Corn and Weatherford here in western Oklahoma. It's going to be going towards I-40 as well over the next several minutes. Again, make sure that you're in your safe place right now if you're in the pink polygon. But even back over near Weatherford, you want to make sure that tornado action plan is ready to go, as it again is a very dangerous nighttime threat here. Tornadoes are very hard to see at night. We may have a tornado on the ground at any time, so make sure that you are in your safe place if you are in this pink polygon, and be ready if you are back over near Weatherford, as the storm will continue to track to the east-northeast. Back over near Thomas, we are still watching this storm near Thomas. Let's go back over to high-res storm relative velocity. So this is what it looks like right now. Rotation's right over Thomas. It'll be tracking towards Watunga over the next several minutes. Not as much lightning on this storm as we did at least once have, so it's going to be a bit more difficult to tell if we have something on this storm visually. No debris signature on either storm as of right now, but as this continues to move northeast, it will be approaching Watunga, Oklahoma. So have your tornado action plan ready to go if you're in that area. We actually had a 59-mile-per-hour wind gust reported over in Eagle City, Oklahoma, as of about a half an hour ago. So some high winds associated with these storms, which again are severe level criteria when it comes to a severe thunderstorm warning. And then back over in southwest Oklahoma, mainly a damaging wind risk associated with a lot of lightning as well, anywhere from about Childress, Texas, back through New Cordell. Maybe a little bit of rotation trying to develop now near Sentinel. This is a little bit of a storm to watch for now near Sentinel. That'll be going towards New Cordell and eventually going towards Eckley. So be mindful if you're in those areas. That storm will be something to watch for as that continues to move to the east-northeast. And so I'm seeing some more confirmation about what we were seeing on the Bessie storm. Very low wall cloud near Bessie as of 8 minutes ago, and that's what Storm Intermedia had. Definitely a large lowering they had just a few moments ago. And so there's definitely something here. We're going to keep a very close eye on this storm. Definitely is not far away from producing a tornado. And again, in this environment, we have a lot of wind shear, especially between now and about 1 o'clock. I honestly think if we get any sort of crazy tornado risk, at least in Oklahoma, I think it's going to be from now until about 1. Tornado threat will obviously go all the way through tomorrow morning, but definitely have a bit more of an elevated potential over the next hour or two with a more favorable environment, a lot more wind shear, a lot more instability as well right now here in central or western Oklahoma. I mentioned this in my video, by the way, just a few hours ago when we did our afternoon video. Just 1 second. Okay. Freddie McKinney, his winds are starting to pick up. I thought he said he might have a tornado, but I don't think he does. But we mentioned this on our video earlier today. If this storm system came in 6 hours faster than what it is now, we would probably have a substantial tornado outbreak happening in Oklahoma and Texas. The good news is that this has been, delayed quite a bit. The environment was very ripe only a few hours ago if we actually had lifting mechanisms, which we didn't. We didn't have any sort of frontal boundary or any sort of initiation. A lot of dry air aloft. So definitely a very interesting little setup here across Oklahoma and Texas. Obviously pretty last second compared to what we were forecasting with even the storm system that's going to be happening tomorrow. We've had an enhanced risk for like 5 days now. So definitely very interesting stuff. All right, let's go back over to Corey Gherkin. And just confirming his location, he is on I-40 Northeast on the southern tornado warning, which he's not loading. So we'll go over to Storm Intermedia first. Storm Intermedia is currently on 183 just south of Bessie. I think Storm Intermedia is going to try to go towards the Sentinel storm, which has been looking a bit more concerning. Just bottom right of your screen. So he's tracking towards Sentinel. And then Corey's over near Weatherford.
So you can see the divide pretty clearly on infrared.
Do you think there'll be tornadoes in the Tulsa metro? I think the tornado risk over in Tulsa is going to be a little bit lower than what we're talking about out here in like western Oklahoma, but definitely a possibility during the morning hours tomorrow. Just a low-end risk.
Dang, guys, it's almost like we were here yesterday.
All right, this is Corey's view back over in Weatherford. So he's right along, or just west of Weatherford. He's right along I-40 right now. Let's just see if we can see anything with lightning, and then we'll go back to radar. McKinney, Texas is not safe tonight. If you are anywhere in North Texas, your risk will begin after midnight. So you have I wouldn't say long night ahead of you, but you are going to have to make sure that you're staying weather aware and have ways to receive warnings overnight. Thank you, Jesse and Ashley, for becoming members. Thank you, D, for the super chat. And also Sony and Empress. Thank you all for the reoccurring memberships. Thank you, Carol, for the $10 super chat. And thank you, Aviation. I'm going to Louisiana tomorrow. Should I chase, or should I go to Alexandria or Shreveport? Going to be a long chase day. If you're chasing, I'm gonna be honest, tomorrow does not look that impressive to me, but if you were to chase anywhere, it would probably be somewhere north of New Orleans. Like, I'm thinking, like, southeast parts of, like, Louisiana. That's where I'd be going, personally. But, like, generally speaking, tomorrow does not look nearly as crazy as, you know, like, a few days ago. But we're probably gonna at least have a few tornadoes out near, like, New Orleans, southeast Louisiana, southern Mississippi, maybe even western Mississippi, tomorrow afternoon. Again, pretty good chance we'll still be live at some point tomorrow, but does not look as significant as what it could have been. It had a very high ceiling a few days ago because of how much wind shear we're going to have. High shear, low instability environment, very small warm sector. It's just not nearly as crazy as before. All right, we do have a new large severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. This is going to include a lot of counties. I don't even think I can read all of them off. They actually go off my screen. So some of them included are Caddo, Greer, Harmon, Blaine, Kiowa, Jackson and Custer counties out here in western Oklahoma. Large severe thunderstorm warning. That is going to be for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, quarter-sized hail, and there's also a tornado possible label on it, meaning that we could see some embedded circulations in this line of thunderstorms. And again, this line of storms mainly going to be talking about tornadoes that are embedded in the line rather than seeing discrete supercells out in front of it. However, over the next couple of hours, we need to monitor any storms that are even semi-discrete or discrete. Those are going to be able to produce a much better shot of at least producing some sort of tornado risk. Even a strong tornado cannot be ruled out in today's environment. Okay, that should be fixed. Appreciate that, Bowling King. Appreciate that. Denton County. I mean, anywhere in North Texas has a risk tonight. It'll be mainly a wind risk, but tornado risk is definitely there. And main concern for the tornado risk will be from about 3 to 6 in North Texas. We do still have rotation on the northern tornado warning west of Watonga. Again, east of Thomas, that's going to be going in the direction of Hitchcock. If you are in Watonga or Hitchcock, it's just an early warning here that we may get a new tornado warning on this if the storm is able to stay organized. It doesn't look very healthy. Just looking at reflectivity, we have a lot of convection all around it, but if it's able to stay a bit more discreet, may see this tornado warning extended here in a little bit. Tornado warning goes for another 18 minutes, so it goes until 11:15 Central Time. And then back over in Clinton, this tornado warning expires in 3 minutes. The area of rotation was a lot stronger just a few minutes ago near Bessie. It's a little bit broader, but definitely still some rotation on the leading edge of this area of thunderstorm activity, now moving towards Weatherford. So 3 more minutes until that tornado warning's over. We'll see if they issue a new one on that one. Appreciate that, Sean. Thank you for the generous $25 super chat. Also, thank you, William, for the super chat. I've kind of voiced my opinions on the NOAA cuts, and I know it's going to come up a lot, especially on live streams, since I can talk more about this stuff, because videos are obviously more geared towards, you know, weather forecasting and stuff, and obviously these are geared towards severe weather coverage, but we sometimes have breaks to talk about this sort of stuff. I've kind of already voiced my opinions. I don't think the cuts should be happening. There's a lot of people that are getting fired, and honestly, I just heard today that they might be getting rid of 2 of the main forecasting buildings for the NOAA and National Weather Service. And if that ends up happening, we could lose some of the most valuable computer models that we have. Like the GFS, for example, there are several models that run out of these buildings. If that ends up happening, we are talking about essentially having a lot less resources to forecast weather, both severe weather, hurricanes. One of the hurricane models would be going. I mean, we have a lot of impacts that would be coming if we lose any of those buildings that are very critical. I mean, again, those are a lot of computer models that we're talking about that could just vanish essentially because there won't be anything to operate them with, because we need these big supercomputers for that to happen. They're very expensive, obviously, but I mean, you know, they save lives and they improve forecasting exponentially. I think over the last 10 years, we've had a incredible increase of forecasting accuracy with hurricanes and as well as severe weather and really all weather in general. Hurricane accuracy has been at top notch. This past year was the best year that we've ever had for hurricane accuracy when it comes to forecasting. So, you know, us losing even 2 or 3 of those models, or even half of the models basically that we have that we use, would be a major hit, because we don't know how many. That basically gets rid of a lot of scenarios, and a lot of those models are really good models. So let's hope that doesn't go through, because if that does go through, we are talking about losing a bunch of models essentially. So back to weather. I knew that it was going to come up at some point. That's just my take on it. So obviously I'm in the forecasting space. It's very relevant here to what everybody does. All meteorologists, all general public would be impacted by that, because forecasting accuracy would probably go down again if we just got rid of a bunch of models. All right, this tornado warning near Corn and Clinton has just expired. The only tornado warning that is active is near Highway 3. So for now, we only have 1 tornado warning just off to the west of Oklahoma City. Again, this is in western Oklahoma right now. The line of thunderstorms is forecasted to reach the Oklahoma City area in about 1.5 to 2.5 hours. So we're not far away from this line of storms reaching those areas. Bottom left of your screen, that is a live shot there in Oklahoma City on the virtual rail fan. We'll be keeping a close eye on that as these storms get a bit closer. Also, we are starting to see some quarter-sized hail reports coming out of these storms. Back over near Butler and Strong City, a couple of quarter-sized hail reports. So definitely make sure you're protecting your vehicle tonight. And also, don't forget, we could have some flying trampolines today. We aren't quite into tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday, but we do have a high risk for flying trampolines tonight into early tomorrow morning for those in Texas and Oklahoma. So flying trampolines are in the forecast. If you have any trampolines in your yard for some reason that you have not already hatched down or staked down into the ground, maybe flip them over, put them in the garage for the night. Flying trampolines are a risk tonight. If you have lived in Texas or Oklahoma for more than 5 or 10 years, you've probably seen a flying trampoline or two. It's more common than seeing a tornado, in my opinion. So no factual studies on that, but I would say it's pretty common. Oh, I see. No, tomorrow is tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. It's not Tall Trees. Thursdays are tossing trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday. When will the tornado threat diminish? There isn't really going to be a point where we have a diminishing tornado risk. It's going to be pretty consistent for a while. Oh, do we have the... Oh, let me go 3 cam real quick. All right, let me fix this real quick and then I'll talk. So back over in Quanah, Texas, I'm putting that bottom left. Quanah, Texas, 1, has a train going by, but 2, we also have a area basically of outflow dominant storms that are back over near Quanah. So we'll have that camera bottom left. A little bit more action will be happening there over the next few minutes. But the tornado risk is essentially going to be happening over the next almost 72 hours. I mean, we're going to have consistent, at least a low tornado risk basically at any given point between now all the way through Wednesday evening. So we're talking, it's about 48-hour time frame actually, from tonight all the way through Wednesday night. Let me show you the future radar on that. Give me 1 second. Show you guys the tornado parameter values as well, which are quite interesting. Okay, so these are the tornado parameter values. This is for both tonight and as well as going into tomorrow. This is mainly going to be for tomorrow since we're a bit further east of Texas. Let me start in Texas, though, and then we'll go further to the east. So this is what it looks like over in Texas and Oklahoma tonight. So again, notice how the tornado parameter value is definitely more elevated. Again, basically this accounts for instability, wind shear. We have quite a bit of that out there. With this being more of a linear line of thunderstorms, this environment will not be nearly as used as what it could be. Again, we could be talking about a substantial tornado outbreak tonight if this storm system came in like 6 hours faster. Again, good news is it did not come in as fast. Otherwise, it'd be a much more significant event tonight. But notice how the tornado threat continues even into tomorrow morning. Any storms that are out there will likely still be rotating to some extent, even into southeast Texas. A line of storms will be moving through. We may have a couple of discrete cells that try to fire up even tomorrow morning back over in southeast Texas. They're likely going to be your low-topped supercell variety if they do fire up. And then eventually, as we go into tomorrow afternoon, there's going to be a very small warm sector back over in Louisiana and Mississippi, which may help to produce the potential for an isolated strong tornado or two back over along the Mississippi River Valley. That's mainly during the afternoon hours tomorrow, and then eventually as we go into tomorrow evening, the tornado risk will remain low but not zero back along the coastline of Florida, and then we may even have a few fish-nados back over in the Gulf just to the south and west of Florida during the overnight hours Tuesday into early Wednesday morning. And then eventually as we go into the late morning on Wednesday, the tornado risk will pick a little bit more back up. Line of storms will be moving through parts of North Carolina, Virginia, maybe even an isolated storm back up in Pennsylvania or West Virginia. And then eventually as we go into the afternoon hours, the tornado risk will start to increase as we will have a bit more of a setup here where a couple storms are going to fire just behind that line of storms that'll be moving through, which could spawn maybe a couple tornadoes back over in Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and even North Carolina. For the time being, the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe weather in place as we go into Wednesday. So this is the risk outlined. Chance that will be live on Wednesday, and there's also a pretty good chance it'll be live at some point tomorrow due to how large the risk is. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got a small enhanced risk back over in eastern North Carolina for Wednesday. I think it's a low chance, but I definitely don't think it's impossible. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. When will DFW see storms? I think 3 to 6 o'clock is a reasonable time frame for tonight. Stay zoomed out here. Oklahoma City is going to be about an hour and a half or so away from storms. Pretty much everybody here in the Southern Plains will be seeing some storms. Pretty much everybody. Unless you're down in like very far south Texas. Also, I just want to show you guys this real quick. This was moments ago, if you missed it, back over in Bessie, Oklahoma. This is when we had a pretty large lowering in Bessie, Oklahoma from Storm Runner Media. See if we can get a picturesque view of this. This is actually a really good view. This right here, let me pause it. You can actually see it right there. Look at that. That is a large lowering. I mean, I wouldn't even rule out that we had a brief tornado somewhere in there. But in case you missed it, that was in Bessie about 15 minutes ago. That storm is no longer tornado warned for the reference, but that is obviously very ominous. I mean, that's as close as it gets to being on the ground, too. Here's another view a few moments before that. That is a very impressive bowl lowering over Bessie about 10 minutes ago or so. Storm Runner Media is dominating tonight back over in western Oklahoma. We got Freddie McKinney bottom middle of your screen, and Storm Runner Media is temporarily out. By the way, another fun fact about the storm system. Tomorrow we're going to have challenging records for barometric pressure back over in the Midwest. Pressure is going to get down to about 978 millibars in the Midwest, which would break a record for the month of March for many areas in the Midwest tomorrow for the lowest pressure observed. So if you get headaches easily, you're probably going to get one tomorrow with how low the pressure is going to be. It's going to drop substantially tomorrow in the Midwest. And for reference,
a new tornado warning has been issued.
Live radar. All right, so brand new tornado warning has now been issued. This is going to be for the Watonga storm in Hitchcock. We still have a little hook on this storm. Lots of lightning now back over near Watonga, heading in the direction of Hitchcock, Oklahoma. This is for Blaine and Kingfisher counties in Oklahoma. If you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible, and interior room of your home or building. And we definitely still have rotation right now, approaching Highway 8 and Highway 3 and Highway 8. Watonga is a relatively small town up here in western Oklahoma, but if you know any friends or family there, make sure that they are getting to their safe place. And if you are personally in the warning, make sure to get to your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom. Honestly, out of every storm that we have right now, this one probably is the closest to producing a tornado, even though it's still broadly rotating as it approaches Watonga. It is a bit more of a discrete cell, which makes it a bit more concerning. This is what I'm talking about. So this is tomorrow for reference. Challenging barometric pressure records. HRRR has it down to 977 millibars by early Wednesday morning, or right around midnight, really, just after Tuesday evening. And by the way, Kansas City, you have a tornado risk during tomorrow afternoon, and then blizzard conditions are possible around and just after midnight tomorrow. So if you are over there in, if you're in Kansas City, your weather will be drunk as we go into tomorrow. Quite the turn of events that'll be happening there. Not sure you can really get blizzard conditions and a possible tornado risk tomorrow within like a 3 to 4 hour period. It's pretty crazy. What do you expect in Euless, right between Fort Worth and Dallas? Just tuned in. I anticipate mainly a wind risk. Let me go to pivotal weather. I'm going to show you a better look at the future radar for Texas. I'll show this for Oklahoma too, while we wait for another radar scan. I know a lot of people are wondering about like the future radar and stuff like that. As a reminder, we did talk a lot about the future radar in our video today. It's pretty similar to what I'm going to tell you here. We actually do have a new HRRR model run coming in. All right, this is what it looks like here over the next several hours. We'll begin with North Texas. So this is what it looks like right around 2 to 3 in the morning. Storms continuing to ramp up between Abilene and Wichita Falls. I anticipate mainly a wind risk. I could see a locally higher tornado risk initially back over near Abilene during the early morning hours tomorrow, which again is really only in 3 hours. I'm saying early morning. It's a weird time frame here that we're going to be between tonight. Eventually by 3 to 4 o'clock, this line is continuing to push east. Again, main concern with this will be damaging winds. Could get an embedded tornado or two in this line, which is the concern that we have. Again, that's why there's a 10% tornado risk. If for some reason we see a discrete cell or two fire up out in front of this line, which is possible back over near Dallas Fort Worth, there would be a higher tornado risk associated with that. It's a very conditional risk, but it is a possibility. So something to keep a close eye on between 3 and 6 a.m. tomorrow. And then eventually, as we get closer to 7 to 8 in the morning, this line will continue to push east. It's going to be very messy, I think, tomorrow morning back over near Texarkana and Shreveport and Tyler. I'm going to go back a run so you just kind of see that progression here. But you kind of see how messy it gets right around 8 to 9 o'clock. We got a bunch of storms merging from the south and a line of storms back out to the west. All this activity merging is just going to kind of create a messy setup back over in East Texas tomorrow morning. And, you know, granted, that's going to be basically the lowest amount of instability that we'll have here during this entire 24-hour period. This is what it looks like in Oklahoma tonight. So right around 12 o'clock, storms are approaching Ponca City, Stillwater, Oklahoma City, and then back through areas near Childress, like Vernon, Texas. Eventually, by 1 to 2 in the morning, the line is moving towards Bartlesville, Tulsa, and moving through Oklahoma City. Mainly a wind threat, isolated tornado or two embedded in this line, and then eventually into the early morning hours tomorrow, this continues to push east. Wouldn't honestly be surprised if we end up getting some mergers back over here in southern Oklahoma, near like McAllister, for example. We could start to see a bit more of an elevated tornado risk for an hour or two, somewhere between like 4 and 7 a.m. or something like that. And then eventually that all moves down into the lower Mississippi River Valley. So that's the general timing with this severe weather threat. Friday bottom right. All right, let's go back to the storm near Watonga, which has been coming together a little bit. We are seeing, again, a bit more rotation over the last 15 minutes or so on the west side of Watonga. We do not have anything confirming a tornado as of right now, but this storm is a bit more discreet, little hook to it as well. It is moving again towards Hitchcock, and will eventually go towards Hennessy, Dover, and just north of Kingfisher. This again includes Blaine County, so central and eastern parts of Blaine County, and as well as western parts of Kingfisher County. The storm is moving northeast at about 55 miles per hour, so it is a pretty fast-moving storm right now. Drunk weather and all the barbecue you can eat in Kansas City tomorrow. I guess so, man. Getting a buffet of barbecue in Kansas City. I was actually supposed to go to Kansas City back in February, and I wanted to get Kansas City barbecue since I've never been there before, but that never happened. Will Iowa get a tornado? Believe it or not, there actually is a risk outlined by the Storm Prediction Center tonight, even back up into Iowa. Which Iowa's not really an area that I'm concerned about for a tornado risk tonight. I think it just would be, if you get anything up there, it'd be isolated damaging winds. But the risk really doesn't get going until tomorrow. Once again, I'm going back to the future radar just so you get an idea here. A bit more widespread view. Might get an isolated storm up there here over the next few hours with isolated wind or hail, but it's a really low risk. Really, tomorrow, anywhere like Kansas City, for example, we're talking more about a cold core tornado setup. So we'll be watching a confined area out here in eastern Kansas and western Missouri for an isolated tornado during the afternoon hours tomorrow. And the risk overall is pretty low at this point, but definitely something to watch for. Tomorrow's severe weather event, honestly, has been downtrending a ton over the last few days. It is still a hatched tornado risk. I mean, we still have a 10% hatched risk out by the Storm Prediction Center. It's a large enhanced risk. But honestly, I think tomorrow, main concern is going to be damaging winds across the board. This is what it looks like again for tomorrow. Got a massive risk. Enhanced risk goes from Texas and Oklahoma back into Mississippi and Alabama. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Tomorrow will also be a busy day. It isn't living up to the high ceiling that it had only a few days ago because of how high the amount of shear is going to be in that environment. The warm sector is very small. A lot of cloud cover expected tomorrow in those areas, which will limit some of the instability growth across many of areas in the lower Mississippi River Valley. I just want to throw this out there. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning actually near Grand Island. I think we have a camera in Kearney, if I'm not mistaken. But there are actually storms right now up in Nebraska. Nothing that's going to produce tornadoes up here, but we do have some quarter-sized hail. So if you're anywhere near Grand Island or Hastings in Nebraska, there is a little bit of severe weather up there. You do not see that very often in early March, but it does happen sometimes, but it's a little bit less common. It gets really active in Nebraska as we go into April. But the good news is Nebraska, I think the tornado risk tonight is very low. Rotation is still intensifying right now near Watonga. So if you are in Watonga, near Hitchcock, make sure that you're in your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. The rotation has been coming together over the last several minutes, and a tornado is becoming a bit more of a possibility right now with this storm. I mean, again, it is really our only semi-discrete cell that we have out there. Everything else is, for the most part, attached to this line of thunderstorms, which is going to limit that potential for a bit more of a strong tornado risk. Again, the strong tornado threat tonight is low, but it's definitely not zero. Let me see where... All right, Corey is at a gas station. Is there a tornado risk for Nebraska tomorrow? Not really. No, I mean, Nebraska isn't in the risk. It would be mainly from Kansas City and southward. We're not really talking about a risk in Nebraska. All right, gotcha, Hidden. Thank you, Justin, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Martha, as well, for the 9 months. Will a tornado warning be issued in Missouri, Moberly area? So if you're wondering if a tornado warning is going to be issued in your area about 5 or 6 hours plus ahead of these storms, that's almost impossible to know because that would literally require the most incredible computer models to exist to be able to predict something like that. So generally speaking, I mean, there's a chance of a tornado tomorrow or even a tornado warning in your area of Missouri, but it's almost impossible to predict if you're going to have a tornado warning. Good reminder, by the way, if you're anywhere in central or even southern Oklahoma or north Texas and you're in a manufactured home or in a mobile home of some sort, or even in like an RV, for example, make sure you have a sturdy structure ready to go in case you have to evacuate, in the case that you have a significant damaging wind threat coming to your area or even a possible tornado threat. Again, tonight is going to be a relatively long night. Again, storms will be rolling into the Oklahoma City metro area over the next couple of hours, eventually going into Dallas-Fort Worth in about 5 hours or so. And then Wichita Falls is only about a couple hours out. Lawton is within the next hour or so. So we are anticipating this wind risk and the tornado risk to continue all the way through the overnight hours. So have multiple ways to receive alerts. That means you should have a weather radio if you have one. Have that ready to go. Have batteries on hand as well in case that for some reason dies. Make sure your phone is charged up, ready to go, and have maybe some weather apps on your phone that can give you a notification. This live stream is also a way to receive warnings as long as we are live. So definitely have ways to receive alerts. Don't just rely on tornado sirens because those are not always the best thing to be relying on. Thank you, Jack, for becoming a member. Do you think there'll be a tornado watch for Dallas-Fort Worth? I would anticipate we get a tornado watch in North Texas in a few hours once this line of storms is closer. So I would say, yeah, we're probably going to get one there, pending any crazy change to the line of storms here. And even then, I think we still have a possibility for a couple prefrontal storms. Latest radar scan just came in. We still have rotation right over the south side of Hitchcock. No tornado confirmation as of right now. No debris signature or anything like that, but the rotation has been on the stronger side of things near Hitchcock. That's going to be moving towards Loyal. It's a relatively rural area here of both Blaine and Kingfisher counties in Oklahoma. But it'll continue to move northeast over the next several minutes at about 50 miles per hour, eventually going towards Tennessee and Dover. Have I received my YouTube plaque yet? I'll be receiving that probably in a few weeks. I just got an order for that, so it'll be coming in here soon, hopefully. And that'll probably replace what's behind me right now, as long as it doesn't have any crazy reflection on it. If you are in Hitchcock, by the way, some of the areas included in this tornado warning include the Roman Nose State Park Lodge, which is actually more in Watunga. Eagle's Nest, which is a American cuisine restaurant. The Lookout Kitchen is also in this area. The Southard Cafe is in this tornado warning as well. So if you are, again, in this warning, seek shelter. Those are just some of the areas that are included in this tornado warning. Other than that, Hitchcock and Loyal are much smaller locations. Looks angry. Yeah, it doesn't appear very organized right now. We got a little bit of some storm merger activity. It's a bit further north, though, even where the rotation is. Main pocket of rotation is near Loyal, but if this convection out in front clears out, I think there's a better chance that we get a tornado out of this. So we'll just have to see if it kind of clears out. But if there were a storm to produce a tornado in the next 20 minutes, it would be that storm, in my opinion. The one near Weatherford still has some broad rotation on the leading edge. That's more of a QLCS tornado risk, though, at this point. Let's go over to Storm Runner Media. That is not Storm Runner Media. That is Ben Williams. There we go. Storm Runner Media currently located just south of Weatherford.
Love these casinos out here.
Unfortunately, as much as this hurts to say, it almost seems like this.
He is currently on the severe thunderstorm warning south of Weatherford. Lightning was pretty prevalent here a second ago.
That this is trending toward being along the Red River.
Let me fix this real quick. There you go. Now you can see his location and stuff. He's in Cordell. Lightning is the main thing we're looking for on these Storm Chaser feeds. That'll give us at least an idea of the storm structure to some extent. Is this going to affect Palm Coast? Isn't that in Florida? Thank you, Ryan, for the $10 super chat. How is Grand Island, Nebraska looking? Grand Island, Nebraska is mainly going to be a hail risk over the next couple of hours, with some frequent lightning, but no, not really any tornado risk with that activity. It's mainly just hail. It's more elevated in nature. Storm Runner Media had some lightning a few moments ago, and for some reason we've had no lightning since then.
Don't get on my car.
But while that is happening, we can go over to Quanah, Texas on the virtual rail fan. Quanah was getting some pretty good lightning here just a moment ago. We'll see if we continue to see lightning, or if whenever I click on cameras, we just don't get lightning anymore. It's like the magic touch. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. Truck driver taking a load from Dallas to Muskogee. Stay safe. And if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, probably a good idea to pull over. Thank you, Matthew, for the 8 months. Thank you, Jack, for becoming a member. Thank you, Tux, for the super chat. I think Tulsa, Oklahoma will be mainly a wind risk, low tornado risk up there. Thank you, Heather, as well, for the super chat. And also thank you, Seriously, for the super chat. Euless, Texas, again, mainly a wind risk, isolated tornado possible. Southeast Kansas should be mainly a wind risk as well. I don't think the tornado risk is going to be that significant, even up into Kansas. It should be mainly in central southern Oklahoma and in North Texas tonight. As a reminder, this is today's severe weather potential, because I know a lot of you are asking, are you in the risk? Well, again, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather in place. That's for central Oklahoma back into North Texas. This is where our greatest risk of severe weather is tonight. And notice that the line of storms is just now entering into this risk. So the Storm Prediction Center's forecast, essentially, they are thinking that we're going to have our greatest threat of severe weather here in the Oklahoma City metro back into North Texas. And this is going to be ramping up over the next few hours. Our slight risk of severe weather goes from Wichita, Kansas, back towards Abilene, Dallas, and also back through San Angelo, Texas. And so again, our main concern tonight will be damaging winds. There will be a potential for a few tornadoes as well with this area of thunderstorm activity, mainly with the line of storms. If any discrete cells fire off in front of the line, which again is a very conditional and low end risk, but if it happens, our tornado risk would be exponentially higher essentially out of those types of storms. And our marginal threat goes all the way up into Iowa. So this is a pretty large area today. Some would even call it massive. I think tomorrow's more massive than today, though. All right, back to the Watonga storm. Watonga will be removed from this tornado warning in just a couple minutes, but stay in your safe place if you are in Watonga. How's it going, Matt? Your hairline is clapped. Thanks. Appreciate that. A need area is in mobile home. If there's a risk for high winds, should we take cover in the storm shelter? If you have any severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning, you should be in a safe place. That in a mobile home, you're not safe, and you could get 70 to 80 mile per hour winds, and it would cause major damage to a manufactured home. So I in my opinion, like I would not be staying in that mobile home. I would be going to your storm shelter, which is definitely a better idea. Still watching rotation right now over Hitchcock. No tornado currently confirmed on this, but we've had rotation here for quite a while. This storm's been tornado warned almost for an hour now. That began all the way back down near I-40, near Clinton. And again, this storm is racing. This is going northeast at 50 to 55 miles per hour. So it's moving very fast. It's going to be moving towards Hennessy, and then eventually going towards Perry. Somebody just asked about a need. Right now, the main concern would be this storm, if it's able to track that direction. It might just stay to your south, but if you're in a need, definitely stay weather aware here until this line of storms is really out of your way. Is there a Mrs. Velocity? Or what are these questions? This is a weather stream. Enid, sorry, I forgot about that. I always forget about that pronunciation. Bartlesville should be mainly a wind risk during the early morning tomorrow. Shout out to Alma with the $10 Venmo, appreciate that. Snow in Ohio for Thursday. You know, there is actually a chance of a winter weather event taking place like this upcoming weekend in the Ohio Valley, but there isn't enough confidence yet to really say anything about it. I did briefly mention it in today's video. Doing all this after losing your pets is incredible. Yeah, I've got to say, guys, you know, it's been a rough last few days. I don't know if everybody knows, but unfortunately, both of my dogs passed away this weekend, and it's been a rough weekend, and even today was rough. So, you know, being able to distract myself from that was very, very helpful. Doing this stream is distracting. Just going to classes today was distracting. But yeah, unfortunately, they both passed away today. I said goodbye to them on Saturday. So yeah, it was a pretty rough weekend. And yeah, I mean, it hurts. You know, they were alive for 15 years, but there was not much we could do about them. Unfortunately, they were just getting old. One could not really eat anymore, and the other one literally couldn't even walk. I mean, yesterday, one of my dogs, like, they were able to walk at least somewhat, but yesterday they literally couldn't even walk. Like, their legs just gave out, basically. So, yeah, it's been rough, but it's not easy losing pets. I'm glad I have a cat, because, like, I got Cheese Curd a couple months ago. Honestly, that's probably one of the biggest helps. But, I mean, they were in my life for 15 years. I've been alive for 22 years, and, you know, they've been in my life for 15 years. That's a long time. All the way from when I lived back up in New Hampshire to now, they've been in my life, and so it's tough to move on from something like that, especially when they moved with you from state to state. And yeah, I mean, they were great dogs. So they have just canceled the tornado warning for Hitchcock and Hennessy, but they have issued a new severe thunderstorm warning on this. That's going to be for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. And there is also a tornado possible label on this. So they still are monitoring the potential for a tornado here. It has become a lot more messy just over the last few minutes. There's just so much convection out in front of this. That's going to kind of hurt its chances of opening the door to be a fully discrete supercell. So generally speaking, mainly a wind risk as of right now, with damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. But still a possibility here for a tornado as this moves northeast. But for the time being, no tornado warnings, which is good news. Huge shout out to Jason with the $50 Venmo. Put some W's in the chat for Jason. Appreciate the generosity. My brother's cat is 22. That's crazy. Cats can live for a long time. Norman will be mainly a wind risk, but our tornado risk will be a bit higher, I think, in a couple hours as this line of storms continues to mature and moves east. Again, it will be mainly a QLCS tornado risk, so that basically means we're talking more about tornadoes embedded in the line of thunderstorms. You could kind of compare this to what we saw just a couple weeks back, even back over in the deep south. That was mainly a QLCS tornado risk in like Tennessee and Mississippi. In Alabama, we end up seeing, I think, about 12 tornadoes or so, maybe a bit more than that. We at least had a dozen tornadoes on that day. So it's pretty comparable to today's setup, and to some retrospect. I think today's setup, though, generally speaking, is actually a bit more favorable for tornadoes. But with this being all a line of storms right now, it does not look great. But I think it's going to get a bit more organized over the next couple hours. Will this make it to Tennessee and Georgia? This is going to be a huge storm system. We've been talking about it all weekend and even today. I mean, this storm is literally going to be impacting just about everybody east of the Rocky Mountains. It is that big of a storm. Let me take the tornado warning tag off there. Like, this is how large scale this storm is going to be. It's going to be impacting basically everybody. Even if you don't see rain or snow, the wind gusts are going to be high. We have very tight isobars all across this low pressure system, which is going to basically increase the amount of wind speeds that we have here across the central and southern plains. There is a extremely critical fire risk back over in Texas for tomorrow, due to how high the winds are going to be and how low the humidity is also going to be. But even with that said, we're going to be dealing with fire conditions here in the high plains, mainly down in Texas and New Mexico. And then also a blizzard is going to be taking place from the central plains back into the Midwest as we go into late tomorrow night into Wednesday. And then severe weather is just going to continue to march here from Texas and Oklahoma all the way towards the East Coast, even into Wednesday. So, and the GFS model, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but there is a chance that we see some sort of winter weather event Friday or Saturday. Again, the confidence isn't very high with that. GFS model even has another storm system Sunday. I can't really put much stock into that right now. There just has not been enough consistency with GFS or any other model, but just something to watch for. We're not going to really focus on that until Wednesday or Thursday, if anything actually comes out of that. But maybe one more shot of snow in the Ohio Valley before this winter is finally over. Which technically it's over in meteorological terms, but you have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. The severe weather risk will continue for the next several hours. They have actually outlined on this mesoscale discussion that a strong tornado is essentially possible. 120 to 150 mile per hour winds for a peak intensity of a tornado would get it into that strong category of EF2, EF3 range. So the peak intensity essentially for a tornado is EF2, EF3, at least that's what they're thinking tonight. The wind risk anywhere from 65 to 80 miles per hour, and our maximum hailstone size will probably peak around golf ball sized hail, which we've had a couple of warnings already this evening. For around golf ball sized hail here in Oklahoma and even back over in southern Kansas. So definitely make sure if you have a vehicle parked outside tonight, if you have a garage, it would be preferable to bring it into a garage instead of having it, you know, out in your driveway. Just better to keep it in a garage somewhere. Lying trampolines are also at risk tonight. Hey, Jason, for the 5 Get to members. If you got to get to membership, make sure to thank Jason in the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat as well. I'll be answering some questions here and there since we don't have any active tornado warnings. Thank you, Donna, for the super chat. Thank you, Laz, for the super chat as well. Possible risk in your Midland, Texas. I would say no. I mean, you could get a brief storm that fires up down there, but I don't anticipate really anything severe. Thank you, Pickled, for becoming a member, in Desiree. Somebody else gifted 5 members earlier, and I missed them. Whoever did that, appreciate it. Oh, it was thank you, Ronan. Appreciate the gifted memberships. Thank you, Bob, for the super chat. Thank you, helping keep our workers safe using your forecast for our U.S. operations. Glad I can help. Appreciate you tuning in. Storm Intermedia is getting a lot of lightning. Actually, let's go to them real quick. They're back over. That is the wrong person. I don't know what button Storm Intermedia is. They're there. Storm Intermedia is currently in the severe thunderstorm warning just south of I-40, east of Clinton. Bottom right of your screen. That is them right there. Decent amount of lightning associated with this activity right now. Possibility of severe weather in Austin, Texas. I would say it's a very low-end risk in Austin. Not zero, but very low. I wouldn't anticipate anything super significant there. Huge shout out to Laura with the $50 Venmo. So sorry to hear about your dogs. Our ragdoll cat is almost 11 and is on meds. He understands English and some German. Well, that's impressive. Enjoy watching you in Oak Island, North Carolina. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your generosity. Somebody was in the chat for Laura. Thank you, John, also for the $50 super chat. What are you expecting for the upcoming storm season? I think this year we're gonna have a more active severe weather season in like the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, and I think it's gonna be a little bit quieter in the high plains. I think it's gonna be around average for Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. If I had to compare this year to any year, it would honestly probably not be far off from what we saw last year. So I think last year and this year are actually not too far off from each other when it comes to the tornado outlook and severe weather outlook in general. They won't be identical by any means. It's very hard to have identical weather setups. There's just so many variables that go into it, but thank you, Pickled, for the gifted membership. I will not be doing like an official tornado forecast or something like that, but yeah, I think this season's gonna be pretty similar to last year. Tornado outbreak in Nebraska last year was crazy. There were a lot of things that were crazy last year. Last year was the craziest year of weather I have ever experienced personally. I know many of you probably can agree with that. 2011, obviously, and 2013, and several of those years in the 2000s, 2010s were significant. But for me, like personally, weather-wise, I think 2024 is the worst. And I mean, I'm not in Oklahoma or something where you get a bunch of tornado warnings, so. When is graduation day? I have about 60 days left until I am officially a degreed meteorologist. So, thank you, Amanda, for becoming a member. About 60 days away. I don't know what my graduation day is. I'm not going to lie, I don't even know. I don't remember. And for those that are asking where I go, I am not publicly disclosing that information for many reasons. So, I will whenever I'm done college, though. Somebody's asking about only Texas. Your storm activity will ramp up around 2 to 3 a.m., mainly a wind risk. There could be a couple storms that are a bit more discreet over there that try to produce a tornado threat, though. Am I going to leave YouTube? There's no plans to leave YouTube. We'll continue to do what we do, and honestly, I think after I'm done college, it'll be allowing me to do this stuff a lot more often and more frequently. I mean, I obviously go live a bunch and do videos and stuff, but I'll also be able to commit more to actually upgrading stuff, because I've not been able to do much with college and this at the same time. This semester, it's been very difficult to balance everything, so I'll at least be more focused on one thing, which will be nice. Do I know Ryan Hall? No, I don't. I never heard of him. Thank you, Nicholas, for the $10 super chat. That's awesome. It's awesome. Good luck. It's very math and science intensive. Any plans to go chasing this year? I'm not sure. I'm trying to. I want to go chasing at some point in the like late summer, early fall. More like when we have stuff happening in like North Dakota. Because like if I want to go storm chasing, it would have to be something up in like North Dakota or like South Dakota, because like otherwise I'm going to be missing severe weather coverage for like a populated area, which I don't want to miss. So my plan is that I'm going to try to go chasing for one of those events in like the northern plains and go and probably have like a chasing stream on the channel or something like that. So that's the current plan. We have a little interesting storm up here in northern Oklahoma near I-35. A little interesting storm up here. No severe warning on this as of right now, but not much lightning either. It's a little interesting storm. Some gusty winds possible. The severe thunderstorm warning near Hennessy. The storm itself has become very disorganized. I agree with there being no tornado warning on this. There's still a little bit of rotation there, but not enough to warrant a tornado warning, in my opinion. Honestly, the wind threat is also starting to weaken on that storm. This is a very messy line of storms as of right now, and it honestly looks the most organized currently south of I-40. So if we're going to have a more significant severe weather risk over the next couple hours, I think it's going to be focused to this area, going towards Oklahoma City, Norman, Lawton, and Altus. And then we should start to see some storms firing up in an hour or two between Abilene and as well as Wichita Falls. But nothing for now, but storms will get going there in a couple hours or so. Did I have Culver's recently? I actually had Culver's yesterday, I think. Or no, it was the day before. I had it Saturday night. Matt, you're good. You're good, man. By the way, for those that have ordered signed hats for 1 million subscribers, those will be getting shipped out in the next couple of weeks. We had some issues, like getting shipping materials and stuff. So we are going to have that stuff getting shipped out here over the next couple of weeks. And it is actually a good reminder. Don't forget, we do have our 1 million subscriber merch out at shopmaxvelocity.net. It is the top link in, or it's one of the top links in the description. I'll also post it in the chat. It is all limited edition. It will be going away at the end of the month. We have signed hats, t-shirts, and much more. This is like the first time I've actually been able to tell you guys on a live stream. But again, we have signed hats. We've already sold half of them. So again, there's only 50% of them basically left at this point. We also have t-shirts, stickers, and mugs and posters all available. These are, again, incredible designs. Our designer does not use AI. We have a designer in-house that does all of this. So you'll notice, again, really cool design here. This literally is basically everything that got us to 1 million subscribers. Drunk NATO, cheese curds, flying trampolines, fish NATO stuff. We also have really cool stickers and as well as mugs that have this design as well. So if you want to check it out, again, shopmaxvelocity.net. That is the sponsor of today's stream, by the way. Hashtag I'm sponsoring myself. Today's stream is sponsored by my own store. I love this type of weather reporting. I enjoy it too. I mean, like, I think this type of weather reporting is like the future, because you're able to interact with people, and it's basically commercial free, so, which is nice. Do I ship to Australia? Everything ships to every country, aside from the hats. The hats are not international. The signed hats, at least. You make a custom zip-up hoodie. We have zip-up hoodies, but I don't think we have one for 1 million subscribers. Hi. What's up? Cheese curd has gone up. That is a long severe thunderstorm warning. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Canadian, Caddo, Blaine, Kiowa, Jackson, and Custer counties, and that's because the other one expired. So we have a new warning. It should pop up here in a second. It's a pretty large area. There you go. So large severe thunderstorm warning, including El Reno, Hobart, Hinton, Binger, Carnegie, and then as far north as Kingfisher. Main concern here is damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. For now, they have removed the tornado possible label. Do your professors or classmates know your true identity? I actually got recognized today. Like, randomly. Some guy was on the phone, and then all of a sudden was like, hey, do you have that weather page? I'm like, yeah. I was like, all right, cool. I get recognized, like, I'd say once every, like, couple of days or every few days now. It's gotten more frequent. It used to be, like, once every, like, month. The first time I think I ever got recognized was at, like, a random McDonald's. That was, like, over a year ago. Do you have any advice on getting a weather degree? Honestly, my only advice is just make sure that you're ready to be heavily into a math and science related degree, because that's a lot of what you're going to be doing. Like, that is almost everything that you're going to be doing. So, in my opinion, that's really what I would be focusing on. Best ways to really prep for it is taking classes like pre-algebra and that type of stuff in, like, college, for example. Or not college, high school, like if you're still in high school. But there's a lot of calculus, differential equations. Mesoscale meteorology is kicking me in the butt right now. That's one of the classes that you'll take. That one is just painful. I don't know if Andy's watching the stream right now. I don't know if Andy had a tough time in mesoscale, but mesoscale meteorology has been painful so far for me. I'm talking about Andy Hill, because Andy Hill went through the degree program as well. Wichita? Let's see. I think Wichita is almost done at this point. The severe thunderstorm watch goes for 3 more hours, but the storms are already off to your east. So probably won't see much over there. Linear algebra? I don't think I took linear algebra. The storms that were severe back up near Grand Island and York in Nebraska are weakening. Still a little bit of lightning, some gusty winds. So you'll experience some gusty winds if you're back up near Columbus or along Route 30 here in Nebraska over the next hour. Otherwise, it's going to be winding down up there. Again, our really main concern for severe weather tonight and really over the next several hours, is Oklahoma and Texas. And the line of storms has actually become a bit more organized over the last hour, just south of I-40. Storm intermediate, bottom right of your screen, they're racing right now towards Oklahoma City to get in position for this line, as it will continue to move towards Oklahoma City over the next couple of hours. We are currently about an hour or so, I think, away from the west side of Oklahoma City Metro getting some severe weather. You know Andy Hill, but you don't know Ryan Hall. Not possible. Bro, I was joking about the Ryan Hall thing. Quasi-linear algebra. Quasi-linear is like literally a word that I never want to hear. At least when it comes to derivations. How long will I be live? We'll see. I'm not sure how long we'll be live tonight. I mean, we could be live until 4 or 5 a.m. if the weather really stays active. We also could be live for like another hour or two. We'll at least be live through Oklahoma City and see what happens. If this line continues to intensify through Oklahoma City, then we'll be live probably for a long time tonight. But if it stays relatively around or just below where it's at right now, won't be a super duper long live stream because I don't want to ruin my sleep schedule. It's already ruined. I've actually been getting up at like 7 a.m. every day and going to bed at 11, which is impressive. So, but we'll be live again at least for the next hour, at least. Probably longer though. You don't have classes tomorrow? I do not have classes tomorrow. Thank you, trucking for the super chat. What do you think the winds will calm down for Nashville to Kentucky? I mean, they're not going to calm down until we go into Thursday. Like, they're going to stay strong. Let's pull up. Where is this? Let's go to... Let me find which one the wind is. So this one it looks like for the next couple of days. So this is tomorrow afternoon. The winds are going to be very high across the central and southern plains. These are your wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, both over in the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, even up near 60 around Dallas-Fort Worth tomorrow. Winds are going to increase as well out in front of that line of storms that's going to be happening in the deep south tomorrow evening, back over in Tennessee, Alabama, and as well as Kentucky. And then eventually, as we go into Wednesday morning, the winds will pick right back up again. Go back over to the east here. Again, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts in the forecast. It'll start to die down a little bit on Thursday, but they'll still stay strong through the morning. They'll really weaken out as we go into late Thursday and into early Friday. And then things calm back down again. But again, this storm, I mean, I've said it a few times now, but it's massive. Like, it's truly a massive storm. This is, I made a video a couple days ago that seemed, for some reason, for some people, it was a bit controversial, but this is like the biggest storm of the year that we've had when it comes to its pure size and also the intensity. You know, the barometric pressure is down to it's going to be down to 977 millibars, which almost never happens in March in the Midwest. That's actually a record, by the way. We've never had that happen in March in the Midwest, in Missouri or Illinois. So definitely something that is pretty crazy. It's bringing everything. I mean, even if you don't get severe weather, like, you're still talking about widespread high winds tomorrow and as well as Wednesday. Still talking about storms moving through your area more than likely. Blizzard possible in Kansas City right after there being a possibility for tornadoes tomorrow afternoon. This is a pretty crazy storm system. We've had a few crazy storms already this year, but this one's definitely up there. Looks like we have a little bit of rotation near Bridgeport. I'm not seeing anything super convincing. Actually, you have like a little bit something down here near Weatherford. Oh, here it is. This is a better view. We have a few different areas of at least low-level rotation. It's not really getting to the ground, but we have a little bit of rotation even southwest of Hinton, it looks like. Just a little bit. Not super concerning, but something to watch for. right, let me go back to here. Thank you, Davis, for the $10 super chat. No, I've never heard of Davis Does Weather. Appreciate you tuning in, Jessica. Well, I can help you in Mississippi. How's Wichita Falls looking, my guy? You're calling me my guy? Excuse me? I'm called Max Velocity. I want to sleep. I mean, you're probably good to go to bed. Just make sure you have ways to receive alerts. You're still about 2 or 3 hours from storms happening there. Do I work for Ryan Hall? I do not work for Ryan Hall. Better than calling you Peanut. Why would somebody call me a peanut? Will there be a blizzard in Omaha? I'm not sure if Omaha is in a blizzard warning. I'm pretty sure Omaha got upgraded to a winter storm warning, though, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. This is what it looks like on the map. This map looks like a mess. Yeah, Omaha is actually in a blizzard warning. This is quite the map for the next couple of days. We got red flag warnings across most of Texas. We got high wind watches, warnings, and wind advisories in effect in the grays and the tan colors. We got winter storm watches. We got winter weather advisories. I mean, almost half of the different types of watches and warnings that Pivotal Weather tracks are on here. If we had a tornado warning, that would be on here, but we don't. Nothing obviously hurricane-wise. We almost have every type of watch and warning that you can get on this website. So, yeah, it's quite the it's quite the forecast, and as well as all the watches and warnings. It's pretty impressive. Midwest and the East Coast will start getting probably some wind advisories here soon. At least at some point. You hit a diabolical gritty at the end of the stream. I think I'm okay. But maybe, we'll see. Appreciate the super chat, Nicholas. I am going to retweet a photo on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX, a crazy shelf cloud over in Mountain View, Oklahoma. You want to check that out? It's at MaxVelocityWX on Twitter. Not sure if Storm Media is going to have that view of that shelf cloud as well or not, but it's pretty crazy looking on his end. Definitely recommend you check it out. Come here to watch trains on Virtual Railfan. Bro, what? What time for Dallas? I'm at work all night. Let me show you the future radar again. And I think Dallas will be around 3 to 6. Alright, latest model run is not fully in, but this is the one from about an hour ago. So this one looks like around 2 to 3 o'clock tonight. Again, line of thunderstorms moving through Bartlesville, Tulsa, back through Wichita Falls. Storms are going to start to fire up over the next hour or so back over near Wichita Falls and Abilene, or just west of there where the line of storms is forming. Again, there has been a cap in place, which is essentially a temperature inversion in the atmosphere. Once that is overcome, which it is now being overcome, we're going to start to see some storms explode. So over the next couple hours, we anticipate that to happen. As we go closer to 4 to 5 in the morning, this line will continue to push east into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is 5 a.m. for reference, so storms around I-35 will be continuing near McKinney and Dallas and Plano. And then eventually by around 6 to 7 in the morning, this line continues to track east towards Fort Smith, Fayetteville, and also moving through Dallas. And then eventually by 9 to 10 in the morning, we're going to have a very messy area of thunderstorms across Arkansas, Texas, and as well as Louisiana. And there will also be storms up near Kansas City, but most of that will just be heavy rain. And then we're watching for an isolated strong tornado threat tomorrow afternoon in the lower Mississippi River Valley, which again, there is a pretty good chance it'll be live at some point tomorrow. Honestly, tomorrow is more 50-50 though than you probably think because of the current setup, but I would anticipate that there will be some changes to the forecast, and tomorrow might actually be a bit more significant. But for now, there's an enhanced risk. It's a hatch tornado risk, so strong tornadoes are possible. I'm going to be honest, though, tomorrow has definitely downtrended a lot compared to before, but definitely still a day that you want to take seriously if you are in the deep south. There will also be a cold core tornado setup back up in Missouri that could transpire tomorrow afternoon. It's quite conditional, but it's possible that we get a tornado up there. Wouldn't be very different from what we had yesterday in southwestern Oklahoma. If you were watching anybody's stream yesterday or even watched our video, very similar setup. We may or may not get a tornado. I don't think we had any yesterday. Also, we do have a damage report that has just come out near Elk City as of 9:48, which was about 2 hours ago now, but this one, the storms initially developed damage to an unoccupied recreational vehicle and barn near Hammond in Oklahoma. That is the first damage report that we've had today. Hey Dibble, I'm giving you like perms, so do it if you want. I don't know how you do it on Discord. Where's Connor? I think Connor's on vacation right now. So he's not chasing. Bro went on vacation in early March. Crazy. Sorry if I missed your super chat. I'll try to find it. I can't read every super chat. It's difficult with chat flying. What courses would you recommend somebody taking with a background in physics if they want to learn more about meteorology? Calculus and algebra. Those are like the two main things you want to kind of at least learn a little bit about before going into college, if that's what you're asking. If you're just wanting to learn more about meteorology, I mean, there's plenty of resources online. I wouldn't say they go as in depth as like college, but there are a lot more resources nowadays than there used to be. Thoughts on how nasty things could get in Dallas-Fort Worth? I keep seeing different things saying it's downtrending and uptrending. I don't know what the case is. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be mixed wording with events like this. In my opinion, I think mainly a wind risk for Dallas-Fort Worth. There is a chance that we get a couple tornadoes in that area, but I think if anything, they're going to be embedded in the line. We could get a discrete cell that tries to fire up out in front of the line. I think it's very conditional, though, tonight. It's very difficult for that to happen at 5 a.m., for the record. So, don't see it happen very often. Thank you, Emily, for the super chat. You should make an unwarned tornado overlay or graphic in the case some big unwarned tornado drops. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I mean, my overlays are very much correspondent to whatever the highest warning magnitude is, so. Thank you, Todd, for the super chat. Arkansas, mainly going to be a wind risk. I don't think Arkansas is going to be very significant for severe weather, but wind is the most elevated risk. We're talking about scattered damaging winds between 60 to 70 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning into the early afternoon, slightly higher tornado chance if you're in southern Arkansas. Is that a lowering on the left side of Storm Intermedia? We can go full screen to him. I'm not sure. I haven't been looking at him. I'll have to refresh him. Give me 1 second. Go to Corey first, and then go to Storm Intermedia. Or do that. There we go. Okay. That is a lot of trucks on the side of the road. I mean, this is... I don't even think they're legally parked. All these semi... I mean, or is that a truck stop? I can't tell. No, that's literally just an off-ramp. Okay. A lot of trucks are just parked on the ramp right now as a severe line of storms comes through. I mean, that's... I'm not sure how safe that is, but they are pulled over, which is probably a better thing than them flipping over on the highway from the high winds.
I see a sneaky little threat there, central and eastern Missouri, tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. I am seeing it as a possibility.
All those sleep.
Anything for Dallas, Texas. Again, 3 to 6 a.m. It's the peak time frame. How possible is hail tonight? We've already had multiple reports of large hail. Right now, though, we don't have any storms that are producing hail. That is significant, like large. Everything is below severe levels for hail.
I'm glad we can be helpful at least.
Not quite as far west as like Springfield, obviously, but it almost kind of feels like the similar area that we saw the tornado, like Mountain View. Kind of,
we just got our new severe weather outlook for tomorrow.
see some cells there.
So we'll check in on that real quick. So new severe weather outlook for tomorrow. I would assume nothing's changed, but we will check it out. And no, I think they've increased the they've increased the hatched area for tornadoes tomorrow. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is larger than before. We have a 10% hatch risk that has expanded for tomorrow in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and southern Arkansas. So, again, we'll probably be live tomorrow. I don't know what... I don't have really crazy expectations for tomorrow's setup compared to like a few days ago. Tomorrow was looking like a very high-end day only like 5 days ago. Obviously, it's hard to predict if it's actually going to be a high-end day since there's a lot of change that can happen between 5 days ago compared to like 2 days in advance. But generally speaking, again, I think tomorrow we're gonna have at least a few tornadoes. We may have a strong tornado or two. Honestly, I think our greatest tornado risk is going to be associated right in this area, so southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. I think that's our best chance for at least a strong tornado risk. I mean, again, we could see tornadoes anywhere in this area. This is a conditional risk of tornadoes tomorrow. This is mostly early tomorrow morning. And then the risk really diminishes after sunset tomorrow back over in eastern Alabama and Georgia. The hatched risk, for those that are wondering, means that there is at least a 10% probability of a significant tornado, which means strong tornado, within a 25-mile radius. So that's a EF2 plus level tornado. But the 10% hatch goes a little bit further south. I think it goes a little bit further west as well. As a reminder, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below and like the stream as well. Helps get this out to more people. For now, we're mostly talking about a wind risk from Texas into even northern Oklahoma. But we are still monitoring the potential for a tornado threat as this gets closer to the Oklahoma City metro. We're only about 45 minutes or so from this line being in the west side of Oklahoma City, and El Reno really only about 30 minutes away. So this is a period that we're going to be laser focused on and watching to see if anything really transpires here when it comes to the tornado risk and as well as the wind risk. Lots of lightning already out there. These are highly electrified storms. They were more electrified actually initially, but they will continue to stay electrified, I think, all the way into the overnight hours. So you might even wake up to lightning overnight. Super high tornado parameter values and not a single tornado. I mean, significant tornado parameter values don't necessarily correlate to the amount of tornadoes that we'll see or even, how significant the tornadoes will be because, I mean, it depends a lot also on storm mode. And also, I mean, the storm mode's really the biggest kicker today. If we had more discrete supercells and this was happening 6 hours earlier, Again, I think we're talking about a substantial tornado outbreak if that's the case, but again, this is a lot more linear, which is going to limit the tornado risk to an extent. But we'll definitely wait and see what happens here as this goes through Oklahoma City in the next hour. There are more photos of the wall cloud from earlier in Bessie, Oklahoma on Twitter. Just kind of confirms what we were talking about a while back. Bessie, Oklahoma is really the only storm so far that has actually looked like it's going to produce a tornado, and it almost did. It actually may have. That was back over south of Clinton for reference. First storm of the season, don't expect much. The storms only get, honestly, worse from here, in my opinion. We usually see a lot more crazy storm activity in the middle to end of March, but it really gets going in April. April is really the month where everything breaks loose. April and May. Those are the 2 months that are almost always the most active out of the entire year when it comes to severe weather. I think that should be pretty well known at this point, but depending on where you are in the country, I mean, if you're like over in let's say like Alabama or something like that, your greatest risk of severe weather really runs from November all the way into, April. So May isn't really that significant usually down there, but not really seeing a whole lot of rotation right now with these storms. They're pretty much wind for right now. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. I'll be answering some questions here over the next little bit, as long as we don't have any tornado warnings. How's it going, Mark? What do you think this hurricane season will look like? Early forecast guidance is indicating a bit more of a quiet hurricane season. I mean, hurricane season's never quiet, but it's like indicated to be around or just below average. But I honestly still think this season's going to be pretty crazy. I think we're going to have several hurricanes. We'll probably at least have a couple landfalling hurricanes in the United States. It's obviously very hard to forecast when we're like 7-8 months out from even being near the peak of hurricane season, but honestly, I think every year just gets more and more crazy. The water temperatures right now in the Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean are still well above average, so it's not very different from last year. What about Tulsa? Mainly a wind risk. Do I get Chipotle? I actually had Chipotle for lunch today. Pretty good. The storms over here near Vernon are just looking pretty bad right now. There's not a whole lot to these. They were more organized about an hour ago near Quanah and Vernon, or just west of Vernon. They do not look great. We also have an outflow boundary. You can see that on radar. This is also called the gust front. You may have heard of that term being used. That right there is your gust front, which also has gusty winds associated with it. Could actually lead to some blowing dust in some parts of like north central Texas, for example. Does rain out in front make it safer? I mean, it basically provides rain cool air, which can help to weaken storms out in front of like a line, for example. We've been seeing that a lot more with these storms that are further off to the north, which is honestly a slightly less favorable environment anyway. The storms that are between like Vernon back through I-40, those ones don't really have any showers or storms out in front of them, so they're struggling a little bit more. Or no, they're not struggling as much. So these ones are going to be more organized for the next couple of hours. And I mentioned this a little while ago, but I think this is the area that we have the more significant threat of severe weather in for the next couple of hours. There isn't really much stopping those storms from weakening as of right now. And then northern Oklahoma, there isn't a whole lot of moisture up here, but we're really talking more about wind, which is mostly just gusty winds for right now, some lightning. Very low tornado risk exists from Stillwater and northward. Now, our main tornado risk here over the next few hours will be mainly in central and southern Oklahoma. And this is our, well, we don't actually, I can't even show you the tornado risk for today anymore on the map, but the tornado risk is the most elevated. Let me zoom out a little bit here. It's most elevated in this area here. So that goes from about Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way back through Oklahoma City. Stay safe, Mark. Appreciate it. Pushing 2 million soon. Yeah, okay. I didn't think a million was even possible, but 2 million would be crazy. 1 million subscriber plaque from YouTube. I'm going to get it probably in a couple weeks. Whenever I get it, you'll definitely see it somewhere on social media or in a video or something like that. List my top 3 food places. That's a great question. Fast food. Is Chipotle considered fast food? I would probably put Chipotle at like right now, I'd put Chipotle at like 2. Culver's is probably, if Blaze Pizza is considered a fast food place, I'd consider that 1, and then Culver's would probably be 3. So if those are considered fast food, which I would consider them being all fast food, then yes. So it goes 1 would be Blaze Pizza, 2 being Chipotle, 3 being Culver's. That's my list. What about Raising Cane's? Raising Cane's can go at like 100. Bro, the only thing that's good there is their sauce. There's nothing else. Straight edge, I mean, the main courses that you'll start with in a meteorology degree would be like the study of meteorology, which is just like a very broad overview of meteorology stuff. If you want to go more specifically into math-based courses, like dynamic meteorology and mesoscale are much more math-based, like you have derivations and stuff. Stats is also kind of like that. I thought stats was somewhat interesting, but it's also difficult. Meteorological stats is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Honestly, like the broadcast meteorology classes that I took were the best classes that I was able to take. Like those, I learned a lot from that stuff. But it really just depends on what your like niche is. If you want to go more math route, then I think dynamic meteorology and mesoscale are the best. Would I ever team up with Reed Timmer to go chasing? He has invited me to go chasing. It's hard to coordinate a chase when I'm mostly going to have to be in the studio during severe weather season. So low chance of happening. Tornadoes are not anticipated tonight in Arkansas, but tomorrow morning there's a low chance in northwest Arkansas. What about numerical weather prediction? Don't get me started with that class. That one was a pain. That's a lot of coding, actually. There's a lot more coding in that class than anything. So, yeah, in my opinion, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't remember what I learned in that class anymore. That one was just so much coding. Thank you, Matt, for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Rob, for the super chat. What's the outlook for southern Wisconsin? I don't think much is going to be happening up there in southern Wisconsin. Other than, like, some rain. There might be a little bit of snow as we go into Wednesday. High winds, obviously, for almost everybody. Justin, I don't really have any advice for you. I think you'll learn a lot, though, from the classes that you take at OU. I don't personally know how OU classes operate when it comes to broadcasts and stuff, but I think you'll learn a lot. I honestly think the broadcast classes is where you learn almost everything. If you're going into the broadcast field, you learn basically everything in those classes. There are certain banned phrases that you're not supposed to say when you're in broadcast, which they're called banned phrases. They're not actually banned. It's just like theoretical. So like if you ever hear me say something along the lines of taking a look at, or like something like that, like taking a look at is essentially a banned phrase. Because if I said that, I would basically say it almost every transition. I used to say that every single video back in 2022. So that is a banned phrase. You're not supposed to say taking a look at. Or looks like. Looks like is also the same way. All right, we have a upgrade to the severe weather risk on Wednesday. The Storm Prediction Center has just issued an enhanced risk of severe weather for Wednesday. What it looks like. So the Storm Prediction Center has just issued an enhanced risk in southeastern Virginia, eastern North Carolina, and South Carolina. And we'll have the exact details here in a moment. So this does mean that there is a bit more of a chance that we'll be live on Wednesday for the East Coast severe weather setup. Could be live every day for the next 3 days. I mean, it's possible. See what the risk is here. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be wind. But we also could see a 10% tornado risk. That was in play. Hasn't come in yet. We'll have it in a second. Oops, wrong thing. Here's once again that risk for Wednesday. Just received an upgrade. The tornado risk is for, I'm just hearing it now, the tornado risk has remained at a 5%. So the tornado risk has not been upgraded. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets upgraded, though, back over in eastern North Carolina. So that's probably a wind-driven enhanced. I'll get those graphics whenever they come in. Yeah, wind-driven enhanced for Wednesday. There's a chance that we go live Wednesday. I mean, if it gets upgraded to 10%, tornado risk will probably be live. It's more 50. It's a lot less 50-50. Tucker is never not here. Tucker is not here. Nothing crazy, though. Tucker isn't here tonight. They will be here for whenever our next live stream is. Thank you, Wolfie, for the super chat. Will St. Louis see any severe weather Tuesday? Very low risk. It's going to be from that cold core tornado setup. I honestly don't think we're going to see anything that far east. But if you were to get anything, it would just be some gusty winds Tuesday evening. Appreciate that, Nifty. Appreciate the super chat. And good luck with that. And for right now, everything along this line of thunderstorms is pretty much all wind. We don't have really any rotation that's developed on anything yet. Definitely watching this area back over near Carnegie and Apache for maybe some tornado potential over the next hour. And again, as this line of storms approaches Oklahoma City, we're definitely monitoring the Oklahoma City metro very closely. This is an area that has had historic tornadoes in the past. I mean, last year at like 2 or 3 in the morning, we covered a tornado outbreak that happened. We had an EF3 tornado rip through the east side there, Oklahoma City, metro at least, near like Hera and Choctaw. I think some of you probably remember that. I mean, that was a very unexpected live stream. That threat was literally a marginal risk threat, and honestly, that was a very crazy day. I'm not saying we're going to see a repeat of that by any means, but this is an area that has been notorious for even nighttime tornado threats in the past. Especially last year, Oklahoma had a lot of nighttime tornado threats that transpired, so definitely going to have to be keeping a close eye on Oklahoma City tonight. Thank you, Nifty, for the super chat. How long till it passes? If you're in Oklahoma City, it'll be passing through around 1:15 or so. Here is the tornado risk for Wednesday. So again, 5% tornado risk is in place in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Mainly a wind risk for Wednesday. And just for perspective here, this is what it looks like On the future radar, as we go into Wednesday, again, line of thunderstorms moving through Greensboro and Fayetteville. During the morning hours, this is where that enhanced risk for wind is coming into play. Raleigh, near Richmond and Washington, D.C. around lunchtime, seeing damaging winds, low tornado risk. And then we may see a couple storms try to fire up during the mid to late afternoon behind that line. Right now, the HRRR not really picking up on that. But if we do end up seeing something behind this line, may see another isolated tornado threat. But generally speaking, this does not look too crazy. We're mainly talking about scattered to numerous damaging winds in eastern North Carolina and Virginia on Wednesday. I hope you stayed safe, Alpha. Yeah, Bessie had a moment there where we almost had a tornado. We may have actually had one. I don't know yet. We'll know tomorrow for sure. But yeah, Bessie was definitely the most interesting storm that we've had so far. And I honestly kind of thought, like about an hour or two ago, before we went live, about an hour before we went live, I kind of thought that really our tornado threat would be maximized where these storms initially form, like within that hour. That's where like all the wind shear is, and tornado parameter values really drop off after that, which now they are much lower. For reference, I'm going to put up the tornado parameter values and go back to 00Z. So this would have looked like at 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, notice how we have a much higher corridor here of tornado parameter values. And eventually by around 11 to 12 o'clock, they go very, very low. This is a very recent trend on most of the computer models. Like about 6 hours ago or so, they were actually higher even through Oklahoma City. But notice how they are kind of low even through 1 a.m. and they start to increase again back over in southern Oklahoma and even North Texas. So we definitely could see a little morning threat of tornado activity pick up in North Texas. But it's definitely going to be early tomorrow morning. We're talking like 6 to 7 a.m. Let's go back over to Storm Intermedia. He's actually next to the leading edge of this line of storms, or I'll go to him in a second. For some reason, it didn't load again.
Oh yeah.
It's also Corey. I think Corey is still along the I-40 corridor, or just near it.
It's northwest of Apache now. It looks like it is trying.
Let me get a quick location check on him. He is in Yukon, Oklahoma.
I was just looking at that. I'm sitting northeast of it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to close on it right now.
Nothing happening there right now. We'll go back to Storm Intermedia. What type of meteorology am I in? Just normal meteorology. I'm not like specifically going into any specific field. Oh, this is in Hinton, Oklahoma. This particular storm is warned for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. The wind is definitely picking up right now. So high winds moving through Hinton, Oklahoma, just to the west of Oklahoma City. Don't forget to hatch down those trampolines if you're in Oklahoma or Texas tonight. Thank you, Ryan, for the 8-month membership. If you're in Lawton, you got about an hour until this line is there. You can go to bed again. Just make sure you have ways to receive alerts.
Yes, now it's starting. Now the line's starting to get these little kinks in it.
By the way, thank you, CJ, for the $5 Venmo. What's this storm season looking like so far? As active as last year? So far, I don't think this is as active as last year. When it comes to, like, tornado count. But, I mean, we're very early into the year. Like, January, February, or very early March. That's all we're through so far. So, I'll give it until, like, the end of March, and then we'll see kind of where we're at. It's better comparison by then, because winter severe weather seasons can be very hit or miss. Like, you can get a bunch of tornadoes in January, February, and you can also get only a couple dozen. Like, it's very possible that you only get a couple, or a couple dozen, I mean. There's a lot more, like basically there's a higher ceiling and a much lower floor in the winter months for tornadoes. And then spring is really where you get the bulk of the tornadoes anyway. So April and May is when most of them happen. Storm media is in a mess right now. This is the active driving conditions in Binger, Oklahoma. Bottom right of your screen is the live radar as well, and he also has it on the bottom left of his screen.
Winds are definitely increasing.
Thank you, Ethan, for the $20 super chat. Show us Aggies some love and give us a forecast for Bryan Station, or Bryan College Station. I don't think much is going to be happening down there tomorrow. It's mostly tomorrow morning. It's a relatively low risk of severe weather. We'll go over it in a second. This is the latest. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Canadian, Caddo, Blaine, Kiowa, and as well as Grady counties in Oklahoma. So El Reno's included in this. They have condensed this warning quite a bit as the other warning is now going to be expiring. So here's your new severe thunderstorm warning. El Reno, Anadarko, just outside of Chickasha. Yukon also included in this. Tunnel, Minko, Binger, Hinton. Just west of Oklahoma City. So again, if you're in Oklahoma City, it's approaching. Got about 40 to 45 minutes until this line is knocking on your doorstep. Main concern again right now being damaging winds around 60 miles per hour. Thank you, Carrie, also for the generous $20 super chat. All right, somebody was asking about College Station. We'll quickly go down to Southeast Texas for tomorrow. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in College Station. A slightly higher fire risk tomorrow, and there's also going to be high winds. But this is what it looks like around 7, 8 in the morning. Talking about some showers and thunderstorms and a very low risk for damaging winds. And then pretty much after that, you're done. There isn't really much happening down there. Just some rain. Couple thunderstorms possible. Very low risk of severe weather. And then fire risk increases during the afternoon hours tomorrow due to low humidity and high winds. Very high winds, actually. Thank you, Kenneth. Appreciate that. Now, for those that only watch our live streams and not our videos, or don't look at our socials at all, we did officially hit 1 million subscribers, I think about a week ago from today or yesterday. It was about a week ago from yesterday, so about 8 days ago we hit 1 million subscribers. And today's stream, again, is brought to you by ShopMaxVelocity.net. We do have our 1 million subscriber merch out at ShopMaxVelocity.net, including our signed hats that are limited edition. They're only out until the end of March, in addition to our t-shirts, our mugs, stickers, and posters. There's literally something for everybody on this website. Really incredible designs from our designer. Again, no AI used in these designs. If you want to check that out, you can say, again, ShopMaxVelocity.net. It is the third to top link in the description below. It is also pinned in the chat if you want to check it out. I'll also post the link in the chat. One of the best ways to support what we do on this channel. Definitely make sure to check it out. The hats, again, are shipping out here pretty soon. The signed hats, specifically. Thank you, Iron Queen, for the super chat from Lawton, Oklahoma. Looks like Fort Worth won't get much of anything. It's still about 5. You got about 4 hours or so until really the severe weather kicks in there. I mean, it's still a long time between now and then. And I still anticipate this line of storms to intensify as it gets closer to, like, the Dallas-Fort Worth area very early tomorrow morning. So Houston feels so windy right now. Imagine in the morning. Winds are definitely going to be high tomorrow as well. 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts are possible even in like North Texas. It will be windy tomorrow. Did I celebrate after hitting 1 million subscribers? I did. I got Cold Stone Creamery ice cream. Never had it before. That was the first time ever. It was actually pretty solid. Does Max Velocity have a Venmo? There's a Venmo in the description below. Is Cheese Curd sleeping? She is. She is sleeping in her cat tower next to me. If she wakes up, I'll put her up on the screen. Cold Stone's actually pretty good. I was surprised. It's expensive, but I mean, granted, we hit 1 million subscribers. Kind of had to treat myself to something. I was thinking of steak dinner or something, but I wasn't hungry, so I was like, no, might as well get some Cold Stone Creamery. I've never had it before. I was pleasantly surprised. It was pretty good. What's everybody's favorite ice cream place? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Just got done fighting a grass fire. Unfortunately, it's going to be a rough day tomorrow. I think we're going to have a lot of wildfires breaking out in Texas and New Mexico. The winds are going to be very high. Again, humidity very low. Relative humidity is going to be below 10% in some areas. So, not a good thing. A lot of people are saying Brahms. Really? I never had Brahms ice cream before. I've been to Brahms for burger. I'm surprised everybody's saying Brahms, though. Culver's. Culver's is pretty good, actually. When do I get the new fancy YouTube plaque? I'll be getting it in about a week or two. Seeing Andes? I've never heard of Andes. Dairy Queen? Okay, Dairy Queen, honestly, maybe like 10, 15 years ago. Nowadays, it's just mid. I don't think they've changed their recipe or anything. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't really surprise me or wow me. Never heard of Brahms. Brahms is more of a Southern Plains thing and Central Plains. I've heard about it in Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. I had it in Texas one time. So, it's the main way I know about it. Thank you, Christine, for the $10 Venmo. Appreciate that. Homemade ice cream is good too. I don't know how you do that. I think I actually tried that one time, and it just came out so mid. It was the most mid thing of all time. I'm gonna be honest, it's my opinion, not the move. But if you can make it good, I mean, make it good. Make it homemade stuff. Honestly, in my opinion, is like the best stuff. Like if you get it from like a restaurant or something, it can be good. But most of the time, you're getting mid food, like fast food, for example. It's mostly stuff you can do at home, and it's better if you just make it yourself. I've been making a chicken sandwich with like fries recently, like myself. It tastes amazing. Like I get like the fried chicken patties like pre-made or whatever, but like those things get like bread and butter, just kind of like, you know, put that on the, I don't know, the stove or whatever the hell you call it, and then from there you just make a really good chicken sandwich. It tastes amazing. I mean, it cost me like $2 to make the entire chicken sandwich with fries instead of going to Chick-fil-A for $11, where the quality there is like, in my opinion, a bit more mid. And honestly, saving $8 on a meal that you can make at home is way better. I gotta say, my chicken sandwich is like a 9 out of 10. I did post it on Twitter and Facebook a while back. We know Max is not in culinary classes. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I hate cooking, but I have been cooking a little bit more recently. I've gotten into it. I've been making some vodka pasta. That's really good. Those are like the specialty meals I make. It's pretty incredible, I've got to say. I did have a chicken sandwich right before this live stream. It smacked. 9 out of 10. Recommend. Vodka pasta is really good too. Like I actually like that stuff. You're fancy? Thank you. I appreciate it. And I also got Raising Cane sauce, like the knockoff version from Walmart. So I put that on the chicken sandwich, and it's like, I don't have to go to Raising Cane's anymore. The knockoff at Walmart's like $2 for a pretty good size of it. By the way, vodka pasta, it's not like, you don't put vodka into pasta. I just want to preface that. It's a pasta sauce, all right? I don't know what you actually like. I don't know what's actually in it. Just tastes good. So yeah, I'm not pouring a bottle of vodka into the pasta. I just want to make clear of that. I mean, vodka is in the sauce. It's not much, all right? It's not an overpowering amount of vodka, all right? It's not like you're dumping 100% vodka. That's what I'm getting at, all right? It's a big difference. Yes, I know it's actually vodka sauce. I know there's vodka in the sauce, but it's not 100% vodka. Have there been any tornadoes yet? I don't know if we've had any. If we had one, the only one I could think of was back over south of Clinton near New Cordell. Am I Italian? I don't think so. Am I drunk? No, I am not drunk. Vodka pasta without vodka is a sin. I mean, at that point, it's just pasta sauce. Does the Enid have rotation? Enid is pretty much done with severe weather. The storms are now off to the east. That said, we are starting to see maybe a little bit of spin near Marshall and Crescent moving towards Perry. But not really anything too crazy. Mostly wind right now, approaching El Reno. Any large hail? We've had some reports of $1.25 to $half sized hail, mainly in western Oklahoma. Looks like the cap has actually eroded all the way back over in southwest Texas, west of San Angelo. A little storm popping up back over there. I don't know why we have 2 radar sites out. I'm not sure if it's an outage or something, but we have both San Angelo and as well as Abilene radar sites both out right now. So that is not what you want to see, but let's just hope the severe weather isn't too bad down there. It's a very low risk all the way back over near San Angelo. It's actually pretty much 0, but Abilene's a bit higher. Where do I buy my pasta sauce? I have no clue. I think I get it. I don't know where I got my pasta sauce most recently. Don't know. Not gonna lie. I don't even know what brand it is. I can't think. Thank you, for the $5 super chat. What kind of comment is that? Max, drop Addy. Maybe you could hang out and you could cook me for me and I could show you Pokemon cards. Let me know. Bro, what? Guys, I know it's like 12:40, but can we like, chill? I know it's late. Let's just chill out, please. In your honest opinion, do you think we see a tornado in Oklahoma? I would be surprised if we didn't get a tornado out of the setup. It might be a while. It might also happen soon. I think like southern Oklahoma or like far northern North Texas near the Red River Valley is like the best chance of a tornado tonight. And I honestly think that's going to be happening between like 2 and 5 a.m. But we are still watching for the tornado risk back over near Oklahoma City. And we'll see if that transpires. For now, it's mostly wind. But if a tornado risk for some reason does start to transpire here soon, we're going to be keeping an eye on that. But so far, it's been mostly wind. Very minimal rotation north of Edmond. I'll take that as a no. I don't know why you're even asking. How's it going, Christopher? Thank you for the 8 months. Checking in to see what's going on. Honestly, I think we're just hanging out right now. We're just kind of waiting to see if this threat of severe weather ramps up near Oklahoma City or anywhere really across Texas or Oklahoma. For now, it's been pretty tame. The beginning of the stream was pretty active, but it's tame right now. Thank you, Denny, for the generous $20 super chat. I watch old streams when I need sleep. Not a bad thing. I appreciate that. Bro is admitting to falling asleep when watching streams. There's probably about 300 people watching right now that have fallen asleep to this stream being on with how late it is. Roof repairs incoming. Yeah, roofing repairs are gonna be happening pretty much everywhere tomorrow. Or not everywhere, but there'll be many places that are gonna have a bunch of roofing companies knocking on everybody's doors. It's very common in Texas and Oklahoma. Very common. How's Sherman, Texas looking later? Asked Bobby with the super chat. I think Sherman's gonna be mostly wind. I think our greatest tornado risk at this point is mainly in this area, and that's gonna be between now and about 5 or 6 a.m. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Hi, jeez. What's up? Hi, you wake up? Is it true that Oklahoma tornadoes have a favorite highway to follow? Or do they just have a really good GPS? I don't think they're really... there's not really a specific highway that tornadoes follow. It'd be coincidental more than anything. I mean, more than anything, though, these storms almost always go west to east or southwest to northeast or south to north. That's the typical direction of a tornadic supercell. We obviously had many drunknadoes last year, but yeah. Hey. Hi, what's up? Billy, the channel is to keep doing YouTube. Will you drop a diss track on Ryan? Well, I don't even know how to do a diss track, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what that means. Like, I very minimally know what a diss track is. Isn't it like just dissing somebody? Is that literally what it is? I don't know if there's much to diss Ryan about. I think the only thing I could just diss Ryan about is his golfing skills. Bro does not golf. You going golfing soon? I hope so. I hope in the after I'm done college, I want to go golfing more. I want to get more into the swing of it, literally. No pun intended. I'm not drunk, guys. Trust me, like, if I don't know what... I have never actually been drunk in my life, so I wouldn't even know what it would be like, but, you know, it's just, right now, we don't have much going on. We got one severe thunderstorm warning. It's my favorite adult beverage. Moscow Mules are pretty good. It's probably my favorite. What's the hail look like in Texas? Highest hailstone size tonight is golf ball sized. I think we're already past that, though. I think most storms will be around $quarter to $half size if any storms end up producing hail in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or really in North Texas in general. I think it would be pretty hilarious if me and Ryan switched spots for a day on April Fool's Day if we actually had a live stream. That would be hilarious. I don't have any plans right now for April Fool's Day. We almost always have severe weather happening that time of the year. It's hard to make an actual April Fool's forecast. All right, storms are approaching Oklahoma City right now. For now, again, it's mainly a wind risk. We're going to be keeping a close eye and see if this tornado risk gets going. You know, we'll be live all the way through these storms, or we'll be live at least through the middle of Oklahoma City. Maybe a bit further than that. Again, we will be live longer than that if this tornado risk really starts to ramp up. There is also a chance that if this tornado risk stays quiet through Oklahoma City, that we get off and then stay on standby after that in case something does end up happening. But again, so far, this has been a very minimal severe weather event. It's definitely gonna... I think it's gonna definitely take off around 2 to 5 a.m. But for now, it's mainly a wind risk. Thank you, Fuller, for the super chat. I'm glad I could help in Northwest Indiana. 2024 was a crazy year, I've got to say. Yeah, another 2-hour nap in. I actually did have a 2-hour nap before this live stream, so we were ready to go today. Had a 2-hour nap before today's live stream. Never get naps before live streams. It almost never happens, so pretty shocking stuff. We have no severe thunderstorm warnings. I don't have an overlay for no severe thunderstorm warnings, but we legitimately have no warnings right now. That's pretty much a first for an event like this. I don't have an overlay for no tornado or for no severe thunderstorm warnings or anything, so we just gotta keep it on this. I mean, we literally have no warnings. They've canceled the warning west of Oklahoma City. First time you're live with no warnings on the board. Now, this isn't the first time, but I mean, this for this scale of an event, usually would have warnings. We have none. This has nothing to do with the NOAA staffing, by the way. There's just like literally nothing severe. I mean, maybe in here somewhere there's some 60-mile-per-hour wind gust happening, but I don't see anything, honestly. Wow. Thank you, Aiden, for the super chat. You should start cooking cheese curds. Or what? I don't know how you make cheese curds. I'm gonna be honest though, like, I know we have no warnings right now, and I know it looks quiet, but I still think something's gonna happen between 2 and 5 a.m. Down near the Red River Valley, for example. Again, if you remember, the 10% tornado risk is like still kind of in this area, so we still have a long ways to go. Still not a slam dunk forecast by any means, but I think in a couple hours we're going to see activity pick up again. For sure. While all this is happening, we have special weather statements back up west of Kansas City right now. Some gusty winds happening. Some elevated thunderstorms. Moisture is much lower up here. We even got some strong storms moving through the south side of Omaha. If you're in Omaha, Nebraska, you're going to go from a couple storms right now to some blizzard conditions tomorrow. Quite the turn of events. Not really tomorrow, but more like very late tomorrow night and early Wednesday. Hey, just scared. Well. Here's cheese curd. He was sleeping for most of the stream so far. What's up? Have a good nap. I'm out of town for work. Can I go to sleep knowing my family is safe in Oklahoma City? I mean, right now it's mostly a wind risk. I don't really think the tornado risk is going to ramp up a ton in Oklahoma City, but we'll still be here for a little bit longer in case something does happen. Hi. What's up? Hi. Go to bed. I like that cat. She's so calm. She meows at me a lot. Like, she's very talkative, believe it or not. Very talkative cat. By the way, Tornado Watch goes for 4 more hours till 5 a.m. So if you're in North Central Texas, or Oklahoma, and we got 4 more hours for this Tornado Watch. And then we'll have another one likely issued in about 3 hours or so for parts of North Texas, maybe even sooner than that, maybe 2 hours away for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. How's it going, Noah? She has a lot to tell you. Yeah. He's very talkative. Never thought I'd see the day Max shows his kitty on stream. Okay. Does Southwest Missouri look in the morning? Mostly just rain, some gusty winds, very, very, very low tornado risk up there. The main concern for tornadoes will actually be in the afternoon, and that's honestly still pretty conditional. May end up seeing a couple tornadoes from a cold core tornado setup. The 06Z model run for the HRRR is coming in. So we'll see what that looks like. But tomorrow does not look crazy right now for Missouri, but that could obviously change. So wait and see. Thank you, Paw, for the $10 super chat. How can I get the stream from YouTube on my PS5? I have no clue. I didn't even know you could watch on the PS5, so that's breaking news to me. Storm Media has the line of thunderstorms coming in right now in Anadarko, Oklahoma. This is what it looks like right now. And no severe thunderstorm warnings as of right now. Just a tornado watch. Oh, rain is starting to pick up, a little bit of lightning. Am I going to cover the blizzard? Not really not in depth, but I think we'll have at least one chaser out there tomorrow if we are live. That will be trying to cover that, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, if we're covering the blizzard, it'd have to be during an actual severe stream because we're not purely covering a blizzard. It's just too localized for a specific live stream on that. So if we are live tomorrow and it happens, then yeah, we'll have it. But current plan right now is that we'll probably have a video tomorrow morning. Probably. I don't know if we will, but we might at least have a video tomorrow morning. And then from there, we will have a live stream probably tomorrow afternoon. I'm saying probably because I don't 100% know if we will. Depends on how things trend. And then possible live stream Wednesday. So that's the current plan as of right now. Obviously, we're live right now. We'll be live here for a little bit longer. And then if things ramp back up again overnight and I'm still awake, then we'll go live again. But for right now, it's pretty quiet. Wait to see what it looks like as this goes into Oklahoma City. Both of the all three cameras are essentially, or I mean, Storm Media is over near Chickasha, but the other two are in Oklahoma City. Is it possible for a snow tornado? Snow tornadoes do exist, but they're not usually that like significant. They're very weak. So they're not really that concerning usually. Is there a big enough lake for a fish NATO? I don't think so. There are very small lakes in Oklahoma. Most of the lakes in Texas are man-made, actually. Which is surprising, but... fish NATOs, I mean, it's very difficult to actually get a water spout over a lake. It's happened before, but it's not easy, because, I mean, when you think about it, the amount of water in Oklahoma, for example, it's probably like 1 to 2% of the state. Maybe a bit more. Maybe like 3%. We got a few bigger lakes out in eastern Oklahoma, but it's not a whole lot. So Fishnado is definitely a lower chance in those areas, in Oklahoma. We have seen it before, though. We've seen many tornadoes cross rivers and stuff. Notoriously, I think the one I remember really well that recently happened, it was back in the summer, I'm pretty sure. It was back over here somewhere. It's like near Louisville or something, or Evansville. I remember a tornado crossing a river somewhere in here. Might have actually been further east. I remember seeing video about that. I think Springfield, Massachusetts, back in like 2013 or 14, also had the same thing happen, or maybe 2015. I think that one crossed the river too. Trying to get my weather history back into my mind. Thank you, bro, for the super chat. I saw your post about the sneaky tornado risk moving into eastern Ohio into Pennsylvania on Wednesday. Do you think that remains the same, or not as convincing now? I mean, that post was literally only like a few hours ago. It's pretty much the same thinking for now. Could change tomorrow, but right now I'm still thinking there's a possibility for a tornado or two there.
Storm tracker out here, guys.
And go back over to Storm Intermedia real quick. The wind is picking up a little bit here in Anadarko, Oklahoma. Need more for the $10 super chat. Only sending because Reed has a Dominator 3 stuck in a Whataburger drive-thru right now, and it's the best thing. Did it get the roof get stuck or something on like the top? Is it legitimately just stuck?
Flooding issues. I know a lot of times metros, they get inundated with flooding from these linear storm modes, specifically the slower moving ones.
Oh, waiting for a sandwich? Okay.
Rather quickly. Just sitting there. Not really my problem. Dude, what the heck? I literally tore this open with my keys, and it's not.
Anything severe expected in southwest Iowa? Got a couple of strong storms right now near Omaha, but I'm not anticipating much that's severe. That's what live radar looks like right now. A little Boeing area of storm activity moving towards Red Oak, east of Omaha. Not too concerned about this, though. Lightning, possible. Wouldn't anticipate a whole lot of cloud to ground lightning, but a little bit of lightning, some gusty winds, some small hail possible, and that's really about it. And honestly, I wouldn't even anticipate many areas seeing gusty winds. It's mostly just hail. There's now a special weather statement for Oklahoma City. So if you're in Oklahoma City, you're now in a special weather statement. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour are possible. Nothing severe as of right now. Spicy ketchup, I miss Whataburger. Or what? They have spicy ketchup there? Will Sherman, Texas get a tornado possibly? It's possible really anywhere. It's a low-end risk. Like right now, it's very low. I think we're going to start to see our tornado risk ramp up a little bit more over the next couple of hours. Actually got a little storm firing up right now near Breckenridge. Got another one near Abilene forming. This is actually in Abilene, Texas right now on the Radar Omega Cyclone Port near Abilene. There was a little cell just forming down to the southwest. There's a little bit of lightning now. So storms are starting to pick up a little bit more now in central Texas. Hey, Brandon, for the 6-month membership. Whataburger sucks. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fan of Whataburger. I think it's very mid. It's very overrated, but a lot of people like it in Texas, I guess. So I've always found it to be very mid. Now, if we get some sort of storm out here, like in Graham, for example, that is able to actually mature. You look at the TP values here. I mean, if there is a storm here that I mean, I wouldn't rely like an isolated tornado threat out here just west of I-35 near Denton tonight over the next hour or two. It's definitely possible. This is what it looks like right now. I mean, the tornado parameter value is relatively low, mainly between Wichita Falls and Oklahoma City. They will be increasing a little bit around 3 to 4 a.m., so a bit better of a chance in a few hours for a tornado threat. There's actually a little interesting maximum down there near San Angelo, but I think those storms just don't have enough to work with. Instability is a bit lower down there as well. There's also more of a temperature inversion, which makes those storms a little bit more difficult to really form into something, but yeah, DFW might be the area to watch for early tomorrow morning. It's just very early in the morning. I actually see the outflow boundary just out in front of this line of thunderstorms. Just barely near Yukon and near Oklahoma City. Cookout is the best food place in the Southeast. I've never had Cookout before. I've heard of it, though. Whataburger is good if eaten immediately in the restaurant. You got to eat it immediately. Can't eat it 5 minutes later. You got to get it once they put it into your hands. You just gotta eat the entire sandwich. I don't know. Whataburger is just so mid. It's so mid. There's nothing special about it. The only decent thing they do is give you big soda cups. That's literally it. I think they do still. Maybe they don't. I remember whenever you get a meal there, they just give you a huge soda cup. It was like the only decent thing. Thank you, Kay, for the super chat. How's Poplarville, Mississippi looking tomorrow? Poplarville, I mean, that's really the main area that I'm watching for tomorrow afternoon. Really mainly during the mid to late afternoon, early evening. I think this is really the main focus for a strong tornado risk. And again, I would still say it's a bit conditional for tomorrow, but if we end up seeing strong tornadoes, it would be in eastern Louisiana or southern Mississippi. I think the risk further north and west, it's lower. It's definitely not zero, I just think it's lower. I think our main focus is down here during the afternoon. And pretty good chance we'll be live tomorrow, as long as the forecast stays on track or even uptrends. It's been definitely not as significant of an event as forecasted only a few days ago. But definitely still something we want to take seriously. You are in the deep south. $20 of no warnings. This is nuts. I think we're gonna go another like hour without any warnings. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't think we're gonna have another warning here for a while. I don't see anything that is even remotely close to being something that can be warned right now, like anywhere. So you know, it's pretty quiet. We got something near Amarillo. It's hard to see, but we have something here near Amarillo that looks a little bit more interesting. This is again the live shot there in Amarillo, or sorry, not Amarillo, Abilene. That's what it looks like in Abilene right now. Abilene, Texas. Hey, Ryan, for the 7 months. Appreciate that. It's hard to tell what's happening with the storm just purely due to the fact our radar coverage is very sparse. But it does look like a storm that we'll have to watch for in the overnight hours. Thank you, Pops, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. maybe warnings come when they're in Texas. You know, I think we're going to start seeing some... I mean, this storm near Abilene looks concerning in like an hour or so. It's very new. It's also very discreet. Just to, again, put in perspective the environment here. Not great, but, I mean, there is wind shear here. I don't have a sounding pulled up, but I mean, there's definitely going to be some wind shear in this area. There's wind shear pretty much everywhere here in the Southern Plains. But that storm might do something. Definitely might do something. Let me look at the 0Z and see if it's any different. This is about 1 a.m. Yeah, there's definitely an environment here where we could get an isolated tornado. But, yeah, I mean, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings right now, and I don't want to be live much longer if this is going to be pretty quiet here for the next hour or two. This is what we're going to do. I mean, we might go live again in a couple hours if something really picks up in intensity. I'm going to be on standby mode for probably another hour or so, maybe 2 hours. And if something comes up, we'll go live again. But if not, the next time you'll see me will be sometime tomorrow. Whether that's in my video tomorrow morning, if I have one. I don't know if I'm going to have one yet. Or in my possible live stream later tomorrow afternoon. That'll be the next time you see me, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you're notified. For now, again, it's quiet, but definitely have ways to receive warnings. Have a tornado action plan ready to go. Technically today, I'm saying tomorrow as in like tomorrow morning. It's technically this morning now, but you know what I mean. But yeah, other than that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you're notified whenever we go live or have a video next. And also, make sure to join our Discord server, link in the description. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all those platforms. We post a lot of updates on there. Definitely recommend you check those out at Max Velocity WX. And as a reminder, today's stream has been brought to you by shopmaxvelocity.net. Don't forget, we have our limited edition signed hats out at shopmaxvelocity.net. These are out for a limited time. This is probably the last time I'm doing signed hats or signed anything for a long time. It takes a ton of effort. We also have t-shirts, kids t-shirts, v-necks, trucker hats, million subscriber mugs, posters, and stickers, all available at shopmaxvelocity.net. It is the third to top link in the description below. These are all out through the end of March, and then we have some exciting new merch that will be coming out in April. So definitely look forward to that. Link is in the chat. It's also in the description, pinned in the chat as well. If you want to check out any of our stuff at shopmaxvelocity.net, that is one of the best ways to support our channel. Thank you all so much for watching today's stream, and stay safe tonight. Have multiple ways to receive alerts, and we'll see you guys all again in the next one, which will either be a couple hours from now or possibly tomorrow morning at some point with a video, or tomorrow afternoon with a live stream. We're gonna go to, I think, Storm Runner Media I have lined up, so we'll raid Storm Runner Media. Just say Storm Runner Media raid in the chat or something. We'll raid him real quick, and I'll see you guys all again in the next one.